Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. It is a brand new Fight Companion Live. We're going to be talking about UFC Nashville. Let me make sure that I have some fights pulled up so we can discuss them here live on the air, guys. I know that we're waiting for Vitor Petrino, and his opponent, in this case, to come out and make the walk. We're getting onto the air. We're doing it live. So let me pull up these fights, make sure that we have not already gotten started. Okay, perfect. We're on a commercial break. So, guys, let's pull up the Tapology. If you guys have not been following me, no worries there, but we have been having an exceptionally good night tonight. We're up over 5 units, I believe, right now. And we've got one last official bet for the night, and it's about to happen in this next fight. So I have quarter of a unit here, on Vitor Petrino to win the fight by submission, plus 830 is the official track bet. I got some plus 900. I got some plus 830 as well. So I tracked the 830. Just because I didn't want to track a number as it was starting to fall. But ultimately, I just look at this fight as you got a guy who's minus 500 to win inside the distance against a guy who's got a very bad ground game. And, for me, that's just a big number disparity that I'm going to try and take advantage of. So could it be a Vitor Petrino knockout? Absolutely. I mean, we've seen Austin Lane get knocked out a number of times, but Petrino has had a number of fights in the UFC where he likes to go out there and work his grappling, look for takedowns. And when you get brutally knocked out, I'm sure it inspires you, let's get back in the grappling room. Let's go out there and work on some of our takedowns. So for me, that's what I'm thinking about in this fight is like, hey, let's see if Vitor Petrino can go out there, work his wrestling and his grappling. Shout out to my guy, Narco Cop. I thought he made a really compelling case for this. And so ultimately, I bet this in the past, guys. I actually had Petrino by submission when he fought Marcin Prachnio, I believe it was. And that was his first career submission. I think he's been working on his ground game diligently. Do I think he's good on the ground? No. I think he's okay, but I think he's athletic. I think he's strong. I think he has better cardio than Austin Lane. Does that translate at heavyweight? I'm still not sure about that, but that's at least a, option for how he could get the sub here. Against Prachnio, I don't think he was a much better grappler. I literally just think he was able to figure out, hey, you know what? I can gas this guy out, make him wrestle, make him feel me in the clinch, and eventually he'll give up. And that's what happened. So for me, I think, this is the kind of spot where we're going to find out a little bit more about a guy like Vitor Petrino and how he's going to fit in this heavyweight division, because I truly don't think Austin Lane is UFC level. He lost on his first Contender Series fight. He came back. He's had some softer matchmaking. Even still, he's not been able to get a number of wins, and he's been getting knocked out frequently in the UFC. The wins that he has gotten are over low-level guys. So I'm just really not sold on Austin Lane. I think he's got knockout power, and I think Vitor Petrino does not have a great chin. So if you're looking for ways that he could win the fight, I certainly think that's one of them. Vitor Petrino, in my opinion, is probably a future fade unless he shows some new remarkable version in the heavyweight class. But it's ultimately styles make fights, and I think Petrino should have the athleticism to match Lane. I think he could be able to get on top and maybe be a little bit better in the grappling. And I think on the feet, it's probably, close in the first round. I just think over time, the longer it goes, I favor Petrino as just a little bit more athletic. He's 27 compared to 37 for Lane. So this is awesome. And shout out to my guy, Monotone. I think he had Tokos on the money line. He says he's fired up after that fight. I called it the Battle of Mid. We now have the official worst to ever do it in the UFC. His name is Tafa. Subbing him, subbing his brother. I think it's all fair play either way. Two guys that'll go out there and throw, but ultimately jiu-jitsu, never heard of it. So when you don't have any ground game to speak of, I can't be laying chalk with you. And I hope that I was able to save some people some coins. And if you were on Tokos, my hat's off to you. Great play. You had the conviction there. I thought he was looking dead in round 2, but one takedown is all you need. When you have that kind of advantage on the ground, you literally just need 1 or 2 takedowns, the ability to stay on top. Tokos made so many mistakes in that fight, guys. It really was a showcase of exactly why I think both guys do not have bright futures in the UFC, but ultimately Tokos got it done on the night. Gambling community reacted to the Tafo photo like they did O'Malley not smoking weed anymore. That's funny, man. I'm positive I can Ezekiel choke Junior Tafa. I believe that. Tuco's a black belt apparently too. I live bet Tafa plus 400 mid-round 2. I think that's fair, man. Hey, what's up, Liam? Been an elite card today. Yeah, it's been pretty good. Even if it hasn't been the best action at all times, I think some fights have been better than others. We've seen some cool finishes. We've seen people going out there and looking to close the show in most of these fights. And ultimately, that's what you can ask for from these fighters. Go out there, try and put somebody away for the full 15 minutes. And I think that, the Chris Curtis fight, for example, was frustrating to watch because I felt like he kind of let some opportunities slip. But most of these fighters, they've been fighting for the finish, and that's what I love to see. And now, here we go, guys. We got fighters in there. Vitor Petrino taking on Austin Lane. And I'm hoping that Vitor Petrino is going to implement a grappling-heavy game plan, but it is yet to be seen. We know that Austin Lane has big vulnerabilities in terms of his chin. We've got both guys approaching in an orthodox stance. Tepid start through the first 20-some-odd seconds. Petrino's showing a little bit more of that basic high guard. Lane, a little bit more movement. Nice low kick from Petrino, first to act. Decent body shot, a right straight from Austin Lane. Very slow start for these guys. Petrino's the one holding center. Lane's doing a little bit more feinting, but a lot of wasted motion, I would say, for Lane. Nice low kick from Lane, though. He's trying to disguise his strikes by putting a couple of fake entries before that. So he'll fake out the jab, and then he'll go and throw the low kick behind it. He's doing a lot of circling, though. Kind of like Max Griffin running that reverse marathon, if you will. Petrino falls short on a low kick there. Body kick attempt from Austin Lane and a takedown from Petrino. He gets one. Nicely done, kid. I love that. I hope they count that as a takedown. I believe they will. It was a caught kick, but it could have been a takedown. Nicely done for Vitor Petrino. And he slides right into the mount position, guys. He slides right into the mount position. Vitor Petrino just made that look very easy, very seamless. I like that from Vitor. And what I also like about his top game, guys, he's very patient in the top position. A lot of guys try and spaz out and look for the sub. Right now, he's trying to set up a head and arm choke. He may be able to do so, but he's taking his time. He's being patient, and he's making his opponent, who's uncomfortable and in a panicked position, continuously think about defending, continuously try and sweep their feet back inside. My coach in jiu-jitsu tells me, be patient in this top mount position. Make them struggle. Make them suffer. Make them panic. Then you can go for your submissions. Then you have them opened up. So right now, Petrino has so much time to work, guys. 247, 246, 245 on the clock. And he is just taking his time, looking to slowly work this arm above the head. And if he's able to do so, he might go for this wrist lock. Guys, he might have, nicely done. So what Petrino's doing is he's trying to get one arm isolated. When you can isolate an arm in jiu-jitsu, it opens up opportunities. So right there, you just saw him go to isolate the arm and use it for a arm attack, right? To go for that Americana, a key lock. What he was doing before was going for the head and arm choke. He's showing different ways that you can attack somebody when you can isolate the arm away from the body. So now he's trying to switch sides. He's trying to go to the opposite side of the body, and he may have this head and arm choke wrapped up. He may have this tight. Guys, it looks like a disaster for Austin Lane right now. Austin Lane, he's not fully done yet, but right now Vitor Petrino is making small adjustments. If Vitor Petrino stays in the mount, I do not think he will be able to finish this. Although he does seem to have a pretty good squeeze, so maybe it's possible. But I think if he passes off to the side right now, he could still finish this choke. Lane is in a difficult spot, but grabbing the wrist like that actually doesn't help you finish. Now Vitor is trying to use a little bit more leverage. With his elbow off the mat, it's going to be very difficult to finish, guys. I think that Vitor is being super smart here, though. He's trying to cook him, and I would love nothing more than for him to cook him into the second round, because I do have some Vitor Petrino takedown ladders. And I think that he could get another easy takedown in round two as long as Lane's able to survive. No, he's opening up with ground and pound shots. Lane, survive right here. Don't do this to me, Lane. No! Vitor is now on his back. I think Petrino might have made a mistake there going for the back, but now he's looking to dig this rear naked choke. He might have this, guys. He's looking to fight this hand under. He might have this. Lane's uncomfortable. Lane is looking like he's bent in half right now, but Petrino is not overexerting right here. He's not trying to force it too heavily. He's slowly making the adjustment. He might have it here. It's on the top of the head. You could still fight the hand here. Now he's trying to go palm to palm with it. This looks a little tighter, and he's tapping. That's it. Cash it. Vitor Petrino, plus 830 by submission. Put the money in the bag. How about that? How about that? Vitor Petrino, put the money in the bag. Petrino. Hey, listen, guys, we're going to fade him again. But heavyweights don't know the jiu-jitsu. You feel me? So right now, what we do is we celebrate. We cash the ticket. Another one. The submission props. Another one. Come on, baby. We having this. Yo, I'll just say this right here. The shoe is back. The shoe is back. I brought the shoe back. We got the can. So same offer from last week's stands, guys. We are absolutely cooking today. It's going to be a 5-unit plus victory for the kid and the team collectively. God bless and good luck. Put the money in the bag. We ain't playing. Put the money in the bag. Come on. Run up that ROI today, baby. Let's go. Let's go. At the casino. Can't hear shit. Have a good night, my man. I appreciate you. Liam, can we please address him as Victor Petrino? I'll call him whatever you want. I'll call him a goat. I'll call him Vitor the Kid. Let's go. Let's go. My guy Coco in the Patreon, he's got to pay off that wedding today. He's putting the money in the bag too. Let's go. Oh, dude. Absolutely have to give a huge shout out, guys, to Narco Cop. I saw that the numbers were off, right? I'm a numbers guy, so I'm always looking at the market. I'm comparing numbers, and I saw big discrepancies in these Petrino sub prices, which told me like I should get involved basically on principle. Then I'm in spaces with my guy Narco, and we're talking it out, and I'm like, yo, he's making some great points here. I should add to Petrino. So I had some Petrino plus 830. Then I'm talking to Narco. He tells me, hey, man, like it's a great spot. I'm like, shit, you're right. I added some plus 900, and we'll take it all. We'll take it all the same way. It all spends the same. So shout out to Vitor Petrino. Unfortunately, guys, the takedown ladder died on Austin Lane's inability to make it to round 2, but we're still happy about the overall night, the overall success. We had 1 unit plus 460 on the Xicao and Walter Walker fight to end by submission. Fastest ends by of my life, I think. Guy just went out there and shipped it in less than 60 seconds. So, man, I'm really fired up tonight. God bless you all. I hope that you guys are having a great night, and hopefully we can find some more winners for you the rest of the way. We're playing with house money, as they like to say, so we won't get over aggressive. We're not going to go crazy and just start spending money to spend money. But if we see some spots where we think we can take advantage, maybe we'll grab some live opportunities as well. But right now, it's just high roller season, baby. We have been cashing the checks. Oh, my guy Narco just said it. Cash it. Yes, sir. Absolutely, guys. If you are not following at Narco Cop on, excuse me. Let me get this right. No, I was right the first time. At Narco Cop on X, guys. I truly believe one of the sharpest guys in the space when it comes to doing their tape study, when it comes to doing their due diligence. He's a guy that comes up with his own opinions. And I think that there's a lot of value to having your own opinion in the fight game. I try and do it myself all the time. But also, one thing that I try and do as well as that is I look at the market. I try and use the market as a tool of leverage. One thing I can tell you guys, I got plus 460 on the ends by sub for the Walker and Xicao fight, and Sharp Markets closed Walter Walker by sub plus 350. So when I tell you that you're looking to exploit market information, it's telling you, hey, maybe this is a sharp side, right? If you could get both guys at this price when one book's telling you, one guy should be lower than that, right? Not both. One guy should be lower than that. So I think that I look at the market that way. And in this fight, I thought Austin Lane has no ground game, not a good ground game. That's why, unlike Kennedy and Xicao, right, I invested in the ends buy in that fight. I thought either guy might have a chance. Walter Walker early, I thought was the sub threat. I thought late in the fight, if it got there, Kennedy could make him pay potentially. What did we see instead, right? In this fight, I didn't think Austin Lane had anything for Vitor Petrino on the mat, and that's ultimately what we saw, right? So when you look back, Austin Lane taking down a Robelis de Spain, taking down a Jonata Deniz, those guys have no ground game, right? Meanwhile, Anton Turkali has made his bread and butter as a guy looking to go out there and, take guys down and get a hold of them in this. It's like I watch back. Vitor Petrino physically whips him all over the place, right? Like picked him up, threw him this way, that way, the other way. I had to start saying to myself, this guy Vitor Petrino wants to wrestle. He wants to grapple. You look at the Marcin Prachnio fight. So after you get knocked out, my guy Narco said it best, man. If you get knocked out, you don't think you're going to come out your next fight and want to go out there and make sure that you force the issue with the grappling. Really smart. I'm so happy. That was awesome. That was awesome. It's been a great night. It has been an absolute great night. So I had 4 official bets today, guys, and we'll go over them real quick before we move on to the next fight. So the officials, or actually I'm wrong because technically I had Curtis round 2 and round 3, right? So those were the losers, unfortunately. He won those rounds in the fight, in my humble opinion. Forget what that one judge said. Did you guys see that? One of these judges, guys, had, I have to go back and make sure that I'm looking at this correctly. But who was this judge? Who was this judge? Hold on one second, man. Who was this judge? How am I losing this? The judge for the Max Griffin and Anthony Maness, guys. Thank goodness. All right, I found it. Here we go. I'm going to share this on screen so you guys can see this. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievably bad. This guy should never be able to go out there and judge another fight. No disrespect, just the truth, right? Round 3 of that fight, Max Griffin is doing a reverse marathon. He's landing no real significant strikes, in my humble opinion. And Chris Curtis is evidently walking him down to the point where he pushed him over and the guy fell. Like, I just could not understand that card at all. So, man, really, 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 really disreputable stuff. But ultimately, I had bet on Chris Curtis to win in round 2 at plus 1,000, in round 3 at plus 1,700. I was disappointed in the level of aggression that he showed tonight. Again, he got caught up in something that as a coach, guys, I get on my athletes about keeping your composure. I don't give a shit if the ref is screwing you. I really don't, because you can't control that. What I need you to control is what you do. Right? Going out there, looking to score points, looking to go on offense, because that you take out of the ref or the judge's hands, so to speak, right? And that's the thing that really bothers me about Chris Curtis is he has the skill, the potential, right? He showed he was walking down Max Griffin, but he does not have the stick-to-itiveness at all times that he needs in order to distance himself from his opponents and in order to say, I don't care that this guy's cheating. I don't care that the ref is screwing me. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing and stay focused on the mission. If he did that, I think he was going to knock out Max Griffin. But instead, he kind of let the fight slip away in the first round. So he had to battle back in rounds 2 and 3. I think if he had just kept steady pressure from the opening bell, not got caught up in some of the antics, I think it would have been a much better night at the office for Curtis. Ultimately, he found a way to get the job done, and that's what it's about. If we go back and look here, guys, here's the results for the night so far. It's going to change when we grade Vitor Petrino 0.25 units at plus 830. I think we're going to be a little bit over 7 units of profit tonight on the event. And, obviously the ROI is sitting at 235% right now. And I expect that's only going to go up with the Vitor Petrino result. So when you look at it, I took shots on 4 different fights. The Xicao Walker fight, we cashed it. Biggest bet of the night, 1 unit plus 460. I was confident that I had an edge. We took the money, put it in the bag. I thought that there was an edge on Curtis round 2 and round 3. The market did not move as strong as I expected in that direction. So ultimately, I got to go back and do some soul searching. Maybe I got something wrong about my cap of that fight. A lot of people said it'll probably be a gritty decision. It ended up being a gritty split decision type fight. Even though I thought Curtis clearly won, I thought it should have been a unanimous 29-28. That's not good enough when I'm looking for finishers. So ultimately, that was disappointing. But then we look at the Jake Matthews, Chidi Njokuani fight not to go the distance, plus 115, another one that cashed very quickly and easily. So overall, a good night at the office, a night that I'm happy with, a night that I'm proud of. But the night's not over just yet. So we're right back to the commentary, guys. And we've got Nate Landwehr, Morgan Chetier. We've got Calvin Cater, Steve Garcia. We've got Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, Gabriel Bonfim. And we've got Derrick Lewis, Tallison Teixeira to round out the evening. I'll be with you guys for the rest of the night to talk it all through. So one thing I want to do real quick is pull up the article that I write for Roto Grinders every week. So let's go main card for UFC Nashville. And again, I just like to share this as part of you guys understanding my process here, right? And I won't always get it right. I say that every week, and I stand by my belief that there's more than one intelligent way to break down a fight. And in this breakdown, I talked about Junior Tafa via KO or Tukos via sub. And reason being, I thought that there was a massive disparity between the striking of Tafa and the striking of Tukos. I think that was borne out when they were fighting. I think that there's a massive difference between the grappling pedigree of Tukos and a guy like Tafa who has literally none to speak of. So that's why I thought there was violence possibilities for both of those guys. Then you look at this fight. I thought Vitor Petrino was going to defeat Austin Lane via stoppage in round 1 or 2, period, point blank. I did not believe that Austin Lane had the ability to, go out there and look good and win. So that's why I didn't say, or Austin Lane via KO, right? I try and be judicious with when I give pass for both fighters and when I say, I just think this guy's going to win. And Vitor Petrino, it doesn't mean I like parlaying the guy at minus 700 or something, right? But I just thought he was the guy who was clearly the right favorite in that fight. I thought he was going to win unless he made a major categorical mistake. So in this next fight, guys, I think Nate Landwehr is a live underdog in this spot. If I was to be on either side, it would definitely be the Nate Landwehr side of things. Let me go look and see if I could pull up on OddsJam what the current odds are. Nate Landwehr. Okay, let's see. So the money line on Nate Landwehr has come down just a little bit. I'm seeing still plus 205 available on Caesars Sportsbook, and I think that's pretty good. But what I'm going to look for as well is on Bet Rivers. Bet Rivers earlier today had the Nate Landwehr decision-only market at plus 195, and I think that that's way off. So if that's still the case, I'm definitely going to have some of that. Let's see here if I have gotten beat by the line move. Yeah, so the decision-only market's sitting at plus 195. Because it's been such a great night, guys, I'm going to bet that for half a unit, I think. Let's see here. Yeah, about half a unit wins 1 unit. So that's what I'm doing for this one, the decision-only market. Listen, I think Nate could get clipped on the chin. He gets hurt in a lot of his fights. But here, let me see something here. I'm trying to keep people up to date while I'm on the air. So my apologies for the brief delay, folks. So yeah, Nate on the money line, I think, is also a decent spot at plus 205. Because I do think there's a world in which he finishes Morgan late, but I just don't think it's extremely high percentage. The thing I'm trying to avoid with the decision-only market is that I do think Nate is just liable to get clipped here by the faster guy early. But he's such a junkyard dog. I think the crowd is going to be behind him massively. So I do think that Nate has a chance to really overperform in this kind of fight. Also, we know that Charrier is like a career underperformer, just historically speaking. So I think that's important to note. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put another half unit. So I have 1 unit total on Nate Landwehr. Half of it is on the decision-only market, and half of it is going to be on the money line play. Yeah, ultimately, guys, here's what I'm doing. So the way that I split the bet, I have 1 unit total on Nate, and I went with half unit in the decision-only market, and I went with half unit on the actual money line at plus 195 for the decision-only and plus 205 for the money line. For me, I think that we have a guy in Morgan Charrier who's 5-10 career in decisions, and he's fighting in hostile territory. He's never won a fight in the UFC outside of Europe. And you have a guy in Nate Landwehr who is a fan favorite, who's a guy that pushes a heavy pace, who's a guy that is the only person to finish Ludovic Klein in the UFC. And we know that he can go out there and push a hellacious 3-round pace. And if that's the case, then I think that he could go out there and steal rounds 2 and 3 from Charrier, who tends to start hot and taper off a little bit over the course of his fights. 3 of his 5 wins are by split or majority decision. The guy's been in a million close fights. He's fought good guys. He's the younger fighter. There's definitely cases to be made for Morgan Chetier. I think he's got a little bit more pop early, but when it comes down to it, when I'm looking to bet underdogs, I'm looking for grit. I'm looking for guys that are going to fight hard for my dollar. I'm looking for guys with skills, back class, and experience. And I think that, Nate kind of checks all those boxes. So that's why I'm involved. But I will say, I respect Morgan Chetier. But again, beating Manolo Cecchini, beating, what's his name? I'm drawing a blank now. Gabriel Miranda, beating those guys, it just does not tell me that he's beating a guy like Nate Landwehr. He's got to show it to me. He's got to go prove it to me. And we are still on commercial, guys. So as soon as this fight goes live, I will have more to say. Chetier activity level just leads to close fights. I totally agree. And split decisions. Unless he finishes early, we're seeing the judges' scorecards. I think that's very possible. Nate 2-3 also I think is very possible. Not going to lie. I think Chetier is going to KO him. I think that's possible too, Cameron. Like when I talked about the fight, that's the biggest fear for me, is like, if I lose this on the cards, hey, you know what? That fair enough. But if I was to lose this via knockout, that would be the one that doesn't surprise me, right? Like I do think that looking at Nate in his last fight, he did look a little slow. I think it could be a one-time thing, but at his age, it could be a drop-off that we have to be wary of. So I'm always realistic about my bets. There's no guarantees. There's no locks in life, but I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I know Chetier is a potential bag fumbler. I've seen it from him before. And I know that on the other side, Nate is going to go out there and fight hard like a dog for your money. So those are the 2 things that I like, but I do acknowledge the risks going in as well. And now, guys, I did mention this earlier this week on Twitter. Let me see if I can bring this up. Share this tab instead. The best post-fight speeches in the UFC. Nate Landwehr. The many faces of Nate Landwehr. He's looked like 10, 20 different guys over the course of his UFC career, but he's ready to do battle. And right now, guys, I'm seeing that they are in the octagon, so let's do it. Bruce Buffer's making the introductions. I'm sure that Nashville is absolutely rocking right now for their hometown guy, for the local Nate the Train Landwehr, but he's facing off with Morgan Chetier, the last pirate, a -280 favorite at close, according to the broadcast. He's going to be fighting out of the blue corner. Let me take a sip of the drink, guys. I think we're going to need it for this one. If we get 10 donos before the main event, we will be hitting a shoey live on air. So just as a FYI, otherwise it's vodka gingers from the nice cold glass like a gentleman. Nate the Train, 4-1 as a UFC underdog, according to the broadcast. That is a guy that knows how to fight when the going gets tough. Nate the Train, baby. And I got to say, I love watching Nate the Train fight. There was times against David Onama, it looked like he could finish Onama, and instead he's yelling to the crowd. He's doing dances on him. Nate is an absolute lunatic, but in the best way possible. All right, let's see it, man. Both guys look dialed. The eyes of Nate the Train tell you that he's a fighter. He's firing out the jab early. Chetier is looking to make reads. Nice low kick outside from Chetier. That was a good opening attack. Nate's trying to close him down with pressure. Another great low kick from Chetier. Nate's got to address that early. Those are good low kicks from Chetier. Both guys landed on the jab. Nice low kick from Nate. It seemed like Chetier tried to check it, but both guys felt the impact there. Nice job. Nate made a much better read on that low kick that time. Chetier is fast. Couple of good jabs for Nate. Nate doubled up the jab. That was nice. He checked that low kick, but again, he looks a little uncomfortable with the stance because of those low kicks from Chetier. And you're seeing Chetier occupy the center now. Nate a little bit more reactive. He's trying to get back on that front foot. Nate threw a couple of lead right hands. He's definitely got a swollen face, though. Something must have hit Nate pretty good in the nose, I would think, and kind of blew out his eye. So Charrier popped him with the jab. Nice right hand from Nate. Nate's actually having some success now trying to lead out with that right hand instead of coming with the jab. Both fighters standing orthodox. Nate, a couple good feints, fires the jab. High kick comes just short for Nate Landwehr. Nate's showing him a couple different tools now. Nice job. Nate puts two together. Now a nice combination from Morgan Charrier. He just put together a beautiful four strike combination. I think two were punches, two were kicks. Beautiful striking display from Charrier. Charrier is clearly the more technical guy. When you just look at how they flow, Charrier looks like a guy who, hits the pads very fluidly. Nice job from Nate getting forward and landing some stuff. But again, he's putting himself at risk doing that. Nice job with the jab to the body from Charrier, answered with a teep from Nate Landwehr. Nate the Train puts together a good three-punch combination, but a nice hard counter hook from Morgan Charrier. These guys are fighting right now. Both guys are landing some punches. Charrier just looks a little bit faster. His delivery systems are explosive. Nate Landwehr's going to have to go downhill on him. Because right now, Charrier's seeing things a little bit too cleanly. If I were Nate, I'd be trying to shoot takedowns to create scramble opportunities. I think that would be good for him. That was a couple good connections for Morgan Charrier. Nate's got to be careful here. He's getting touched in the pocket. Nice job, though. Nate put a good 1-2 together. The problem is when he throws that 1-2, he stays on a line. So he's getting caught a little bit. Nate's trying to get into the pocket now and really rough him up. He's landed some good shots and he's starting to have more success with his offense, but he's taken a lot of risks defensively. Wow, he might have staggered him a little bit there. Nate Landwehr coming forward with 1-2s. What a guy. Nate Landwehr said, "You want a dogfight, kid?" He just stuck a jab on him. Both guys answered. They're starting to brawl a little bit in the phone booth. Charrier puts a nice shot. See, that's what I wanted Nate Landwehr to do, but this is still good in terms of pace. Nate Landwehr hits him with a lot of hip. Landwehr sprawls, and now he's getting back to the top position. Oh, nice job from Morgan Charrier to continue that dogfight position from Nate Landwehr. Guys, this is about heart and grit. Nate Landwehr just said, no, you cannot have the takedown for free. Morgan Charrier goes across to the body lock. That was a good decision, but he wasted energy there, guys. Athleticism is being spent by Morgan Charrier. He just went for a big base down body lock, and he's again not going to quite get there. He gets Nate down. He does not consolidate the position. Guys, Morgan Charrier is spending a lot of energy. I must say, I love this for Nate's chances in round 2 and 3. Whoo! Now we're getting spicy, boys. This is the fight Nate needs. Although at 37, how many does he have left in him? I don't know, but I will tell you, this looks more like a Nate Landwehr fight that he could win. He's making Morgan Charrier wrestle and grapple and grab a hold of him, and he is holding on. Guys, he's squeezing. When you squeeze, when you are holding on, when you're latched to somebody, oh boy, it can get tiring. It can get real tiring. So Nate, a guy who loves being in these gritty fights, I don't think he's going to mind. Oh, look at, he's going to try and go hip down on his head. Nate Landwehr's trying to sprawl hip down on his head. Nate Landwehr. Oh, Nate Landwehr tried to go for the choke and he got a response. Oh, wow. Nate Landwehr. Nate the fucking Train, baby. Nate the Train in the UFC. Nate the Train in the UFC. Nate the Train in the UFC. 13 seconds left in the round. Nate is working from a front headlock and he is trying to get this guy to concede position. Morgan Charrier has been sprawled on to end this first round, and guys, he did not look comfortable. Nate Landwehr just let him know what time it is. So whether he won that round or not, I think that Nate the Train Landwehr just got back into the driver's seat. Let's fucking go, man. Let's fucking go. Come on, Nate. Push it, Nate. Let's do this right now, Nate. No time to waste, Nate. No time to waste, Nate. Whew, that was electric. I think round 1 could go either way. Love the pace. Man, that pace I loved. That pace I loved. That energy I loved. Let's see what the live market is doing right now on Nate the Train in the UFC. Nate is about plus 175 right now, guys. I'm seeing a plus 175 on Nate Landwehr in the live market. All right, I think we're about to start round 2. Let me see if I can pull up FanDuel. and see what odds they have. So I want to just say thank you guys for rocking with me. I know that there's a lot of people that do these fight companions and that kind of thing, and I hope that you guys enjoy and get value from what we do here on the show. And if that's the case, then make sure that you hit the subscribe button, drop a like, and we're going to keep it rocking. We're back for round 2. Nate the Train Landwehr, Morgan Chetier. I'll try to be less biased in this one, but I'm clearly backing my guy Nate the Train here, so don't follow me too much, guys. All right, let's see it. We've got Nate the Train walking forward, throwing jabs. I got to say, I'm loving this pace from Nate Landwehr. I think I'm going to have to add, if I can, to the Nate Landwehr side. Oh, no, the line is crashing. Oh, goodness gracious. I missed my chance to add. But I do think that Nate is starting to look good here. He's coming forward. He's applying a lot of pressure, and I don't like Cherier's response. And I must say, the line's starting to crash really hard on the live market for Nate the Train. Let's see if I can get I don't think I'm going to be able to get any kind of good price or anything, so I'm probably just going to have to leave it alone here, guys. Yeah, it's down to plus 106 live. Sorry that I'm not calling it. I am looking for live entry. All right, let's see here. I couldn't book nothing. Wow, Nate's right back in it, guys. He got fouled and he's right back in it. What is going on right now? He looks pissed. Nate the Train, baby. He looks pissed. I don't know what just happened. Maybe I missed something. But that's it. They locked the lines. I'm watching. Nate, oh, wow. Nate just got hit, but he's coming forward, bro. What is happening? Nate the Train is like a zombie, dude. He got buzzed by one shot and just kept coming forward, landed 2-3 more of his own. Nate Landwehr loves to fight, man. There's no doubt in my mind. This guy absolutely loves to fight. And Nate Landwehr 29-12 on head strikes, baby. Let's fucking go. Nate Landwehr's letting him know what time it is. He said, welcome to Clarksville, bitch. Excuse me. No disrespect to the fighters, but it is welcome to Clarksville in this mug right now. Welcome to Clarksville, Tennessee. Welcome to the Stars and Stripes, baby. Come on, Nate. Walk him down, Nate. Landwehr coming forward, occupying center. Chetier is slowing down, guys. They are throwing heavy leather at each other. There's some bleeding on the bridge of the nose from Nate Landwehr. You can tell Chetier lands with heavy impact when he does throw, but he is just a little bit caught in the mud. He's a little bit stuck in the mud. He reminds me, of a guy that's just very athletic, so he can keep throwing good combinations, but in between, he's doing nothing. He's kind of not throwing very much. He's picking 1-2 opportunities. He's landing with explosivity, but he's just not throwing a lot. And Nate Landwehr's filling the gaps. He's using feints. He's using forward pressure, and he's trying to cut this guy off. Nice job. Nate Landwehr putting 4 or 5 punches together. That is how he's going to win this fight, is with forward pressure and multiple punch combinations. I would love to see Nate Landwehr throw 2-3 punches, get him backing up, and then rip a calf kick. 29-7 on significant strikes in round 2 for the Train, for the freaking Train, baby. Come on, Nate. Come on, Nate. Keep pushing, kid. Nate Landwehr giving a little bit of ground. But now he fires back with a 3-punch combination. Guys, the simple 1-2-1 from Nate Landwehr has been money all night. He is just throwing it and investing in it. He's going to the body now. Morgan Chetier is starting to show signs of wear. He is showing that he has been worn down by the pace of Nate Landwehr, and the explosivity he once had is now a shell of its former self. Nice right hand from Nate Landwehr and a hammer fist, a standing hammer fist. The Trevor Peek. If Trevor Peek was good, name Nate Landwehr, baby. Come on. Nate Landwehr is such a junkyard dog. I love watching this guy fight. A boxing coach would never tell you to fight like Nate Landwehr, but the way he does it, he sticks out that jab, he throws out 1, 2, 3, 4 punches in a row, and he is tougher than an old leather boot. That is the skill set of Nate Landwehr. I would love to see him bite down right now. He just got hit with a left hook. I'd love to see him bite down and end this round strong. Nicely done, Nate, with a right hand. I think Nate Landwehr clearly won this second round, but I will say it's at least, Morgan Charrier made an account of himself for this last 30 seconds. But I think Nate is again showing at the end of this round with about 10 seconds left on the clock that he still wants this round banked under his name. And that first round was very close. I think we could be looking at 1-1 coming into the third. I think we could be looking at 2-0 Nate. But right now, Nate is yelling at him between rounds. He is telling him, oh my gosh. I love Nate Landwehr. I love Nate Landwehr. Oh my God. This guy is so electric. This guy is so electric. Let's see what the live price is, guys. Okay, I can't find it on FanDuel. Nate Landwehr is minus 360 live. Let's go. Nate, finish the job. Come on, Nate. Come on, Nate. Come on, Nate. Oh, nothing would make me happier right now than Nate Landwehr winning this fight by decision, beating him up, grinding him out for Clarksville, Tennessee, baby. Wow. That was absolutely electric, guys. Absolutely electric. Nate looks so dialed in to start this round. Let's go. Nate's coming forward, throwing. Nate's starting strong. Nate just hit him with a jab. I got 4:52, 51:50 on the clock if you guys are looking. Oh, no. Big right hand from Morgan Charrier. Nate's hurt. Nate's hurt. No, guys. Nate's hurt. This is not good. Nate is hurt. He's trying to rally. He's hurt so bad. Fuck. This is horrible. Nate's out. That was so sad, guys. That was so sad. Oh, that was so sad. Congrats to Morgan Charrier. That was clean. It was maybe a second early, but it was fair. Nate was getting beat up. Fuck, man. That's so brutal. I feel so bad for Nate because he just fought his ass off, man. He made a great account of himself, but that was what I was worried about right there. Was just him getting knocked out. It's the only way I saw him losing that fight. Fuck. Oh, so brutal. So fucking brutal. Well, good thing it was just the half unit. We'll get the decision only back, but fuck, man. That sucks. That sucks. Nothing else to say but that. Sorry, guys. That absolutely sucked. Oh, I should have hedged. I should have hedged between rounds when Nate went to minus 360. But that's okay. That is okay. Damn. I hate Morgan Charrier. Fuck. Yeah, Charrier did use whatever he had left, and he finished it, man. Hats off to him. Oh, I hate that for Nate, man. I really am gutted for Nate the Train, man. Fighting at home, and he fought so well. He did everything he was supposed to do, and then he got clipped late by a young kid who hits hard, and he just couldn't recover. Fuck, man. Hats off to Charrier. That is absolutely gutting. That is so gutting, guys. I've never seen Charrier with that kind of finishing instinct. Me either. Me either, Gray, ever. So, again, hats off to him, man. Dude, that was so crazy, man. Oh, I feel like that took the air out of the room, guys. That was brutal, man. He He was fighting so well, and he just got beat up in that last exchange, dude. He got some really heavy leather connected on. That is the sport, Cam. It could all be taken away from you in 1 second. Damn, that's brutal, man. But that's the game. That is the game. Holy shit. Oh, very glad that I went the decision only route for half that investment. Otherwise, I would have felt really foolish. Finally showed some heart and grit. Big respect. Yeah, I agree. That was the best Morgan Charrier we've ever seen, and he was getting beat up. So that sucks. Damn. Man, I do not have the same takeaways from fights that some people have, bro. Somebody just said he came out and fought dumb in the third and found out. I don't know if he fought dumb. He fought the exact same way he was fighting before, and he got clipped, man. That's fighting. It's like Nate was getting touched with the same shots earlier. He was just eating them, and then he got put down, you know? Yeah, man. Honestly, it's so gutting because the UFC, all they can really do is try and put local fighters on the card and like hope that they do well, but it doesn't always go that way. And, in this case, like, it's not like the main event has like a local flair or something like that. Like that was the big thing for the Tennessee faithful, and it didn't come through. Nate did everything he could, man. He fought his ass off. And even at the end there, he didn't quit. He didn't get up in time. He couldn't answer the bell like the ref wanted him to. And that's all it was, It wasn't like Nate gave up on himself, man. He got hit. Yep. He was minus 360 going into round 3. That sucked. That was absolutely brutal. My guy Gray in the Patreon just called it a gut punch. Such an accurate way to put it, man. Such an accurate way to put it. Brutality. All right, let's see what's up next. We can't linger on that one too long. Oh my. Are we going to see another 37-year-old featherweight legend get splattered? Let's find out. It's the great Calvin Kattar, the Boston finisher. One of the best fights that you may not have seen, or at least that you may not have seen recently. Worth going back and rewatching. Calvin Kattar versus the pride of Section 9, Shane Burgos. Great fight, guys. And Calvin Kattar was able to get the win there. He has not been kind to the great state of New York, I will tell you that. But when you look at a guy like Steve Garcia, the Mean Machine, he's on a great run. He's been getting a lot of knockouts. I just have to question the level of competition a little bit. I think his best win in the UFC by far is a win over Chase Hooper. And I think that win, you need to put a little asterisk because Chase Hooper, that was the last time he cut down to the featherweight class. I think he was killing himself at that point in his life and his physical development to make 145. And I think it showed, he could not take a single punch from Steve Garcia, So I do think Steve hits very hard, but also Chase literally could not take one punch without falling over. So I think that one you kind of got to maybe not read too much into. And then the other performances for Steve, they're all guys that I think Calvin Kattar, would probably get the jump on, except maybe Mel Costa. But in that case, I believe Steve fought him up at 155. And even then, I'm not saying Calvin wouldn't beat Mel Costa. I think he could knock him out, beat him to a decision. But Melk does have some skills and tools, the length, the physicality, the wrestling, the grappling. He's got some skills that could definitely trouble Calvin. But I say all that to say, Steve Garcia has just been fighting a different class of fighter in the UFC than Calvin Kattar. Calvin Kattar has been fighting champions, title challengers, top 5 guys in the division. So the 4-fight losing skid that he's on, I think could be a reflection of, hey, he's 37, he's past his prime, but losing to Yusuf Zalal, losing to Max Holloway, losing to Josh Emmett, where's the bad loss? Losing to Arnold Allen, he's losing to the very best guys in the sport. And this would be the fight that tells us, like, wow, Calvin is not who he used to be. He has completely fallen off if he loses this fight. But when I look at it, I'm like, Calvin has never been knocked out. The one injury TKO loss he has, was a weird one. He didn't get hurt that bad by Josh Emmett even. Like he had to, kind of keep his distance at times and like, hey, you know what, let me make sure I don't engage too heavily in the pocket with him. He took some damage, but the guy's been so difficult to finish throughout his career. So again, I look at the Yusuf Zalal fight. Zalal, he's a young man. He's a dangerous guy. He's gotten a lot better since he left the UFC and came back. And he had been on a run of finishing guys at a lower level. And then he fought Calvin Kattar, and he needed to just barely edge out a decision. And I think Yusuf Zalal is better than Steve Garcia, honestly. I think he would submit Steve Garcia. So when I look at this fight, I think to myself, good scrap, honest scrap. Both guys have a chance. If Calvin Kattar's washed, then maybe he just doesn't have it anymore and he's going to lose this fight. But I'll tell you, like, my gut feeling, my impression is Calvin Kattar can win this fight via knockout or decision. So I think I'm going to pick Calvin to win this fight. And, he trains with the TriStar guys now. And I think we've seen massive developments from Rob Font since training there. Not sure we'll see exactly that level of development from Calvin. But what I do think is that, I've heard he had a better camp this time around than his previous camps. And Calvin Kattar, he's a tough out, man. Is Giga Calvin's best win? I think Ige is a better win than Giga. I think that Burgos at the time was a better win than Giga, although, your mileage may vary there. Shout out to my guy, Razor Sharp Picks, one of the OGs. I appreciate you for being here, my brother. Shout out to you. God bless and good luck. I don't know if you have any action, but if you do, my man, go ahead and let us know, because I know Razor only gets involved with the sharpest. Let's see where the line is at for this Kattar fight before the guys get to scrapping. So I'm seeing right now Steve Garcia is still in the back. So the fighters have not made the walk yet. Calvin Kattar's up to plus 150. Wow. They're booking minus 162 Steve Garcia, plus 144 Calvin Kattar with $20,000 limits at Pinnacle right now. That's insane. Wow. I have 2 units on Calvin, also sprinkled the first round KO. I don't blame you. If I was to get involved with a side in this fight, it would definitely be plus money on Kattar. So let me go to my document here. Man, oh, that's so brutal. My write-up for the Nate Landwehr fight, guys, I'll show it on screen real quick. My write-up for the Nate Landwehr fight, I had him winning round 3 or split decision. So the dagger in the heart to have him come out and do well in rounds 1 and 2 and then get iced in the 3rd round, that is literally the anti-icing on the cake. It's like the last kick in the balls after you just got jumped. Like, oh, gosh, just horrible. But when I look at this fight, guys, I did pick Calvin Kattar outright, and now that he's like plus 146, I think it's a clear dog or pass situation. Let's see something here. Maybe I'll go a half unit on Calvin Kattar. I will say, guys, I think the last time I bet Calvin was when Calvin Kattar was fighting Giga Chikadze, and he was like plus 200, and he absolutely dog-walked Giga Chikadze in that fight. It looked like a hindsight favorite. Nate was up 2-0 on one of the judges' scorecard, 1-1 on the other 2. That is absolutely gutting, and I did think that there was a chance he won that first round. Kattar, career durable, plus 145 must click. Yeah, I think that's fair. And yeah, Cam said half unit as a little treat. Exactly. We're not going crazy, right? We're not getting out over our skis or anything, but we've had a 7-unit profitable night. I think we just gave back a little half unit sprinkle there. So all good. And by the way, the 7 units is just a track profit. I had the plus 900 and the plus 830 for that Petrino sub. So a little bit more profit than we'll take credit for. And that's okay. Let's see here. Let's make a nice little withdrawal. Thanks for the money. Put it in the bag. Adam says he's taking the under 2.5 rounds here. I don't hate that. I just don't know that Calvin Kattar is going to, look to bite down with that kind of aggression and look for the finish. I think he's going to try and win this fight by any means necessary. Like if he needs to wrestle for a takedown, if Steve gets tired, any little thing you can imagine to gain an advantage, I think Calvin would do here. If he needs to poke him in the eye to get a 30-second break, like when you've lost 4 in a row in the UFC, you're basically fighting with your back up against the wall, right? Your job is potentially on the line in this fight. And, we're going to see the same thing with Wonderboy Thompson, right? A guy whose back is up against the wall, a guy who needs to go out there and get this win, or, maybe his UFC career could be over. And, I think that it's tough when you're staring down the barrel of a big, lengthy losing streak, especially in the UFC, guys, at 37 years of age, when Contender Series is about to start rolling around. Like, these guys see the writing on the wall too. So let's find out if Calvin Kattar still got one in the chamber. But I will say, at his best, he was one of the most violent, one of the most dangerous. His uppercuts were lethal. His ability to find the elbows, he showed off in that Calvin Kattar, in the Calvin Kattar fight. In the Giga Chikadze fight is what I meant to say, where he smashed him with the elbows and busted him all open. So I just have nothing but respect for a guy like Calvin Kattar. The only thing that made me hesitate, especially when this line came down, it was plus 120s and, plus 105s and stuff like that. The reason I didn't like Calvin at those numbers was because I just looked and said to myself, like, I don't love the level of resistance I saw against Aljo. Like, that seemed to me like it was more of a function of injuries and age than it was Calvin's real skills. Losing to Aljo, totally understand. Getting punked by Aljo, where it's like completely non-competitive, that is what I did not envision in my mind. So seeing him fight Zalal and win, round 3 unanimously there, that for me tells me he's not washed, but maybe he slowed down a little bit, right? So I don't expect him to get wrestled and grappled here. And that's why I think it's a much better fight for him, right? And I think the Yusuf Zalal fight, it's another different example of Yusuf fights a reverse marathon, right? He's very good at moving backwards. He's got the cardio to do that. And I don't think Steve does that, right? He's a guy that pushes forward, gets into violent exchanges, loves the chaos, kind of like Nate. And that style is a give and take, right? Nate just showed he was minus 360 going into the 3rd round, pushing the pace, doing everything that you'd want to see from him. But when you constantly present yourself, when you put yourself in the fire, you're there to be knocked out. And I think that that's something that we always got to take into account, right? Steve Garcia, he's putting himself in positions to knock guys out, no doubt. But he's also putting himself in a position to get knocked out. And we've seen Steve Garcia get brutally flatline knocked out in the UFC, right? He got knocked out by Mahashate, face planted, right? Went down. And the other thing is, I remember, because I bet Steve, I'm not a big parlay guy. I'm not a big, heavy favorites guy. I'm very selective with that, especially at this point in my betting journey. Earlier on, I was a little bit more liberal with my use of parlays, as well as my interest in big, heavy favorites. And I said to myself, how on earth could Steve Garcia lose to Charlie Ontiveros? He's better than him everywhere. He hits like a truck. Ontiveros can't take the damage. And guys, Steve Garcia got hit with an axe kick in that fight, like 30 seconds in, and he was doing the salsa, he was doing the merengue, the Macarena, every dance you could think of. Steve was on wobbly legs, and it was a minor miracle that fight didn't get stopped. So when I think back and I say to myself, like, I've seen Steve do the chicken dance, from guys that are no longer with the promotion. Calvin Kattar still has an opportunity to go out there and connect big shots on this guy. And it reminds me in some ways of the Rob Font and Adrian Yanez matchup, right? Adrian Yanez was cooking guys in the lower end of the division, knocking them out, putting together a highlight reel. And then he fought Rob Font, a teammate at the New England Cartel, now a teammate at TriStar MMA of one Calvin Kattar. And what did we see in that fight? Rob Font went out there, they exchanged, he grabbed a hold of the back of his head, punched him as hard as he could, and absolutely flattened him. So I do think there's a chance that Calvin Kattar, is being forgotten as a power puncher because it's been a little bit. But we also know, he put an elbow through Jeremy Stevens that sent him packing, right? Like, it's big, big shots. So I think that Calvin Kattar is definitely a guy that hasn't been putting together the knockouts lately because of the quality of competition. But, if he was to take a step back down in competition like he's doing tonight, maybe he can find those opportunities to check the chin of some of these guys. Still on a commercial break here. So I'm going to have a sip of the drink. I'm going to take a toast to you guys. Cheers if you're having one with me. God bless you. Normally we're drinking coffee on the show. Today it's a celebration. We're having a little bit of adult beverages on the show. Already a profitable night. on-track bets by a pretty sizable margin. Happy with where we're at. So we're celebrating. It's a job well done, and then it's right back to work because the bookie will never pay you for the work you did last week. So we got a pay-per-view coming up. There'll be plenty of work on the horizon. I'll probably get started a little bit on that tonight. Most of it will get done tomorrow and Monday, but ultimately we're getting ready to step into a pay-per-view. And also we've got a lot of fights, coming up. So we've got fights on the Contender Series. We've got fights on the UFC week after week. I think we got at least 8 weeks in a row of UFC action. So I'm really fired up. Never been a better time to tap into the channel because we're going to have plenty to talk about here in the coming weeks, months, and for the rest of the year. So I hope that you guys will hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Drop a like on the stream so other people can come find it. And we're going to get right into it, guys, because we got the tail of the tape. 3-inch reach advantage for the younger fighter by 4 years. His name is the Mean Machine, Steve Garcia. On the other side, the perennial top 15 contender, one Calvin, the Boston finisher, Kattar. So fun fight, good scrap. Let's find out what happens here. Whoo! Steve Garcia is like a picture of intensity every time he fights, guys. This guy brings the heat, no doubt. And away we go. Or actually, no, not quite. Another crowd shot. Kattar on screen. I'm hitting the refresh button. I want to make sure that we are as live as we could be on this stream. Here we go. They've got Calvin Kattar looking absolutely jacked tonight. Kattar looks to be in very good shape. Why, Aston? Look at me like I... Little transfusion over here. Okay. Let me tell you something about Methuen, Massachusetts. There's nothing to do whatsoever other than fight. Hey, I love it, Cam. Fight doesn't go the distance, minus 200. Let's see, man. I definitely think that could cash. Whew. Let's find out. 2 featherweights. You've got southpaw stance for Mr. Steve Garcia. Calvin Kattar operating out of the orthodox stance. Got excellent boxing. It's always been the trademark for Calvin Kattar, even though Max Holloway, asked if he was a freshman when he was delivering that ass whooping. If y'all remember that backstory, that Calvin Kattar lore. Steve is throwing some awkward, wild kicks to start. Most of it missed. Calvin looking to just try and pick his way into range. Steve's over swinging a little bit. Nice job with the left hook, though. A shifting left hook from Steve. First connection of the fight. Steve's the one holding center right now. Calvin's trying to bait him to come in, trying to pick the right counters. Steve's doing a good job using his forward pressure and his footwork to back Calvin up and make Calvin retreat. 1 minute down. Really not a lot happened through the first minute. Just Steve with a couple of pot shots. Nothing really too much. Little jab over the top from Steve. The level of activity from Steve is definitely superior early. He's just throwing feints, just giving things to look at. But he's also kind of fighting a little bit more frantically. I think Calvin's fighting a little bit more composed. That was a decent right uppercut from Steve. A couple good teeps to the body. He landed a few of those. Steve's just piling up like numbers, right? He's just scoring. Not a lot of super clean lands, although I do think the toes to the body were pretty good. Calvin's switching stances a lot, showing him different looks. We're 2 minutes down. I haven't seen too much to write home about from either fighter, although the boxing is looking good from Steve. He's actually starting to land with some straight shots down the middle. Calvin is not looking, not looking great right now, I'll be honest. Calvin's looking a little bit tepid. Not willing to throw enough right now. And you're seeing Steve is just willing to pick up the slack. Steve's holding center. Looking to fire off with that jab. Man, Steve did a good job getting inside of the jab of Kattar and then finding his left hand. The left hand of Steve has been finding a home all night. He just put together a nice 1-1-2. Calvin has to find a way to change the dynamic of this fight because right now, nothing's going his way, in my humble opinion. Tried to throw an inside low kick, tried to put a right hand out there. Calvin's just out of range. Steve's touching him. Steve's landing the better shots right now and more of them. Bad recipe. Now, the thing about Steve is he fights at what many believe is an unsustainable pace. I'm not sure that he can't do this for 15 minutes, but I'm at least a little bit questioning of it. He is fighting pretty aggressively right now, throwing out a lot of techniques, pressuring super hard, throwing spinning shit, throwing a lot of crazy, wild techniques, a lot of laborious stuff. If he could do it for the full 15, I'll be impressed, honestly. Nice job just picking away with those low kicks, though. That's smart from Steve. Steve's doing a good job of kicking to the outside of the leg at times, but also stomping the front of the leg. And we know that Calvin Kattar has had some knee problems, right? He had that Arnold Allen fight. He tried to throw a knee up the middle, kind of injured himself, getting a little over-aggressive. Nice job with another stomp kick and then a reverse stomp kick from Steve. Now Steve goes high. Steve is just overwhelming Calvin right now. Oh, nice inside elbow from Calvin. That was the first good strike of the fight for Calvin Kattar. He landed a beautiful inside elbow. I thought those counters would be difference makers for Calvin, and he finally finds one, but with a minute left in the round, he's got to do a lot more to win this round. Right now, it looks like Calvin kind of just settled to say, hey, maybe I'm not going to win this first round, but I'm going to try and just get some shots back, get some confidence builders going into round two, and hope I could take over there. But honestly, just a really disappointing start from Calvin Kattar. That was a clear Steve Garcia round so far. Last 20 seconds of the round. Calvin's a beat behind. That was a pretty decent right hand. So Calvin did his best work in the last minute, but that was definitely a Steve Garcia round. Kattar looked better in the last minute, but he really looked so bad to start that first round. Classic slow start from Calvin. Yeah, I think that's fair, Cam. Oi, plus 340 live. That is no bueno. That's a tough look for Kattar. I'll grab it small because I do think there's a chance Steve could slow down, but that was not a good look from him. These two are too big for being featherweight. That's hilarious. I think Steve is massive for featherweight. I think Calvin is a fine size featherweight, like nothing crazy, nothing big, nothing small. He's a fine size featherweight, but dude, Steve is huge. No doubt about that. Even like density wise, Steve just looks big. Kattar needs to just decide he's going to risk getting knocked out in this round, because I think if he doesn't, he's not going to win this fight. Like he's got to just commit to his offense here. And it's easier said than done, but if you want to be a UFC fighter, you got to be on offense. It's just that simple. Defense does not win championships in MMA. I half kid, but I hope you guys take my point. The judges are not scoring you moving backwards or getting your head off the center line or anything like that. They're only scoring you damaging with shots. Nice right hand from Calvin Kattar. Calvin started this round a little bit better. He's trying to land combinations, but so often Steve's forward pressure gets him to reset his feet. He needs to just hold his feet in place and throw. He wants to box from like perfect foot position at all times, and it's just not always sustainable. Steve is more willing to throw arm punches but connect something than Calvin. Calvin wants it to be perfect punches every time, and that's just not how you're going to deliver, connections to guys in the UFC. Calvin's trying to stick behind that jab. This is a super tepid pace from Calvin. He throws a jab. Calvin's just doing so much retreating. It's honestly just a shame to watch. Kattar eats a spinning back kick to the body. He eats a left hand. Oh, he looks so bad. Nice right hand, though. Oh, he might have found him with that right hand. That was a good connection by Kattar, one of his best. And then he gets caught with a jab. Kattar's now trying to find his foot position on the outside and just rip down right hands. I at least like that he's trying to get more aggressive, because what he was doing before was not going to work. That's for sure. I think Calvin should throw some body work. His lack of kicking, his lack of differentiation is just making him pretty predictable. He's going to jab the head. He's going to throw a right hand to the head. So a lot of parrying and catching from Steve Garcia, just basic defense, is winning him the fight, because Calvin's just throwing to the same target over and over. So if you headhunt, it makes it a lot easier for people to defend. Calvin's switching up with these elbows, trying to punish him for his forward pressure, but again, it's another headshot. Steve's just chipping away with low kicks, throwing high kicks. Now throwing body work. Steve's just doing so much more than Calvin. This is Calvin Kattar's last fight in the UFC, guys. Unless he changes something drastically, no disrespect, he just has nothing to be doing here anymore. There's just nothing for him here anymore. He looks out of sorts, out of range, out of ideas. Disappointing. Steve Garcia's trying to walk him down. It's not like Steve's having like the fight of his life or something either. Steve's fighting okay. He's doing what he needs to do. He's sticking behind his jab, but he's mostly just throwing out kind of sloppy offense and, getting Calvin's hands occupied with attempts, getting his legs occupied with attempts. His hands are down at his sides. He's got a very awkward stance and style. But Calvin just looks like a shell of himself. He's landed 8 significant strikes in the first and the second round. It's just never going to win a fight like that. So we might as well, just end this in between the second and the third, because I don't know what we're watching here exactly. We're watching Calvin Kattar do a lot of backing up, do a lot of stance switching. We're not doing that much fighting. Even as a New Yorker, guys, there's no fun in a hate watch of this. This is absolutely horrible. Steve is just dummying him. Kattar looks horrific. Man, I'm just so sad for him. These two are, yep, we talked about that one. My guy Cameron says he might be washed after all. Totally shop worn. Damn, yeah. It sucks. It sucks, man. Wish it wasn't so. But because he's training with the right guys, he's doing the TriStar thing. He tried to do everything to get his career back on track. They gave him a step down in competition. He has nothing. I just hope that he retires, man. I really do. It's funny because the last fight, Yusuf Zalal ran the reverse marathon, and, it was a little frustrating for everybody. And right now, it's Cater that's running the reverse marathon. He's just not landing anything or, doing any good striking to win the rounds like Yusuf Zalal was doing. So this has been disheartening to watch. Also, this is the first categorically boring Steve Garcia fight. So there's that. This fight is just horrific. I think Calvin has done more stance switches than punches. I'm not kidding about that. Somebody go back and count those. I think you will find that I am being accurate in my assessment. There have been more stance switches for Calvin Kattar just fell back over his knee. I think he just tore his knee again, guys. I think he just tore his knee again. I'm so devastated for him. I believe he just tore his knee. I'm not positive about that, but Calvin Kattar just looked like he fell and tore his knee. Oh gosh, man. Insult to injury. He's now looking for a takedown. Man. I don't know if Calvin blew out his knee, but I think he did, and I hope he didn't. That looked horrible. I think Garcia's going to finish him, guys. Calvin's out of sorts with 3 minutes left in the round. He's tougher than an old leather boot, but he has absolutely nothing. He's got nothing. He looks like he doesn't want to be there. It's over. It's all the way over for Calvin, guys. Oh, my. This has been one of the hardest watches of the night. You need a drink to watch this fight. Good Lord. Jeez Louise. Maybe they told Calvin the fight's tomorrow. That's a theory. Steve is just walking him down with impunity, guys. Something I never wanted to say in my life, but Calvin Kattar looks like Max Griffin right now. Reverse marathon, stance switch. Not great. And listen, I don't blame him. If Steve Garcia was trying to punch me in the head, I'd probably be doing a reverse marathon as well. But oh no, Calvin just got hit with another big low kick. Ugh. I wish somebody on Kattar's team would just throw the towel, to be honest with you. I don't know what we're playing for exactly at this point. Calvin's still trying to throw. I mean, God bless his heart, man. I don't think he could hit water in a boat tonight. Oh my goodness. Yo, somebody get a gravestone ready for fucking Wonderboy Thompson. Guys, when I tell you that Steve Garcia is going to get fucking flatline KO'd in his next fight, please believe me. Please believe me. Pour some out for Calvin. Yep, I won't pour it out because I'm in my office, but I will definitely drink some for Calvin. That's for sure. Great fighter, great memories. Guys, go back and watch that fucking Calvin Kattar and Shane Burgos fight, so that way, you don't have this lasting memory. Burgos and Kattar. Go watch it so you never remember this version of Kattar again. Yeah, this was Calvin Kattar's last UFC fight, guys. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Absolutely nothing left here. Nothing left to do here. No disrespect. A guy who is a top 15 guy doesn't fight like this, right? Unless they're past it. And he's past it, unfortunately. Damn. That was the most boring Steve Garcia fight I can imagine. With all due respect to an admirable fighter, please no more for Calvin Kattar. Nothing left to see here. He is no longer a UFC level fighter. Actually, that might be a little harsh. Damn. That was literally the most air-sucking result I could imagine. Man, that was literally the most boring fight I can imagine with Steve Garcia participating. Charlie Ontiveros, guys, had way more success than Calvin Kattar. It's over. It's already over. Write the obit. No disrespect. No disrespect. Just had nothing. Wow. Oh, goodness. Dude. Rob Font is all we got left in Massachusetts. They need to give Joe Giannetti a shot. Dude, they really do need to give Joe Giannetti a shot. He deserves one. My guy Kyle says Kattar is so washed. He is literally in the spin cycle right now. He's so washed that he's next to the dryer sheets. He is next to the detergent. He is all the way washed. He's living in the laundry room. It's over. It is so, it's never been more over. I'm so sorry to all my Massachusetts brothers. Rob Font, hey, Rob Font, stand up. I said before, Rob Font has taken to the TriStar system a little bit better. He's looked great. We backed him against Gene Matsumoto. Calvin Kattar, guys, didn't have one UFC level mover position tonight. It's over. It just has to be his last fight in the UFC. Somebody said I hope it was his last fight in the UFC. It's got to be. Wow. I mean, just that was a wet fart of a fight, guys. No two ways about it. No two ways about it. Oh, that's hilarious. So in terms of how I would play this next fight, guys, and I got to just own, by the way, that was a horrible prediction by me. I thought Calvin Kattar would win that fight. Bad prediction by me. Vitor Petrino, round 1 or 2 stoppage, good. Tokos by 7, we knew it was on. That one, that was just a straight up bad prediction, awful prediction. And I always got to say, you celebrate the wins. We celebrated some wins earlier. Got to own the losses too, man. That was a horrible read on Calvin Kattar. I thought that he would offer more resistance. I said it against Aljo. I thought he did offer more resistance than I expected against the law. And maybe that was him pouring out everything he had, because tonight he didn't have anything, you know. Oh, fading your guy, Connor Matthews. Dude, Connor Matthews feeds families. I hope that they give him another fight. Love that guy. You know, maybe they'll give him to Calvin Kattar. And at least, hey, Massachusetts gets a win there, right? A no-lose situation, as I like to say. But it is so over. It's never been more over. It is deader than disco. I love that, though, Cam, right? We'll put two guys together from Mass. You can't lose. I was saying for the White House fights for the UFC, that ridiculous thing that we're going to be doing next year, if they're going to do those White House fights, they got to put an American against an American somehow in a title fight, right? So we don't have a champion from America right now. We got to get there between now and then with the clever matchmaking, with our strategic thinking. We got to find an American champion, then make it America versus America so America can't lose. Simple. Because right now, guys, I'll tell you, you put in a couple of our American contenders against international champions, we might get sunned on the White House lawn, and that ain't good for national morale. So, hey, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at this next fight of the night. And let's go ahead and show this on screen. So my official prediction for this next fight was Gabriel Bonfim via stoppage in round 1 or 2, or Stephen Wonderboy Thompson via round 3 or split decision. After seeing the 40-year-olds and the 37-year-olds tonight, I'm thinking it's Bonfim round 1, round 2, more often than not. But I will also note that, you look at a guy like Wonderboy, and he is another guy that looked good in his last fight, right? He lost to Buckley. He got knocked out in that fight. Maybe his chin's gone forever, but he's also a guy that has a bunch of very credible UFC level wins in the welterweight division, and Gabriel Bonfim does not have those same caliber wins. For me, this reminds me of like Eduardo Mora. Yeah, Eduardo Mora won the fight, but did she blow Lauren Murphy out of the water? No, Lauren Murphy was coming back on her in round 3 and, really had some success despite looking visually way slower than her. And in this fight, like Wonderboy Thompson is probably going to look a little bit visibly slower than Bonfim, a little bit less explosive than Bonfim. But if they both get a little bit tired, like we know that Wonderboy is the kind of guy who can dig deep in rounds 2 and 3. And I don't know that about a guy like Bonfim. I know that he can fight at a comfortable pace for 3 rounds. He did that when he went to decision with Ange Loosa, and he looked good doing it. No two ways about that. And I also know that he can get early finishes. But when he was in a dogfight with Nicholas Dalby, I faded him there with Nicholas Dalby, and Dalby was able to, turn the tables on him in the second round, get up from some takedowns, and then eventually knee him in the body, make him crumble. And I think that when you look at Wonderboy Thompson, he's not the biggest body worker out there, especially in his older age, but he does have excellent timing. He does have excellent strikes. And I think that Bonfim, has power. He's got great jiu-jitsu, but if he just decides to strike with Wonderboy, or if they end up striking for longer than he hoped or expected, like I do think that he could get, kind of outclassed a little bit on the feet. We saw a guy like Vicente Luque back in the prime of his career when he was at his best go up against, Wonderboy, and he was 10 steps behind him, right? So Wonderboy's fallen off since then a little bit, but again, is Bonfim the same level now that Luque was then on the feet? I'm not sure. So, timing is everything in mixed martial arts, and at a different time in their career, I would have picked Thompson quite comfortably here. But at 42 years of age, I really just don't know what to expect from him, right? Like the bottom could fall out on you at any time at that age. So let me go look at what the fight not to go the distance is priced at here. That just absolutely blew up in people's faces for the Calvin Kattar fight. But I had Kattar money line, so I can't complain. Let's see here. Fight to go the distance, no. Nothing there. Huh. Oh, the fight's live, it's saying. No, that must just be on that book. Hold on. Fight to go the distance, no, is minus 176. Yeah, I don't love that enough, honestly. I think it's just a total pass here. If anything, I'll bet live potentially on this fight if an opportunity arises maybe, but I don't think there's anything pre-fight that I feel the need to get down on here. If you love long shots or something like that, I don't think that Wonderboy round 3 knockout is like the craziest way you could lose $10. Because I do think we saw Bonfim crumbled when he was getting hit late against Dalby, and Wonderboy, not known for being like a prolific knockout artist in the recent run of his career, but definitely throws meaningful offense. And Kevin Holland, guys, is tougher than an old leather boot in terms of like actually striking on the feet, like hurting Kevin Holland, putting him down. It's like almost impossible. And Wonderboy beat the absolute shit out of Kevin. So here they go, making the walk. Yeah, I'm going to go like a super tiny sprinkle on the Wonder Boy KO 2-3 props to feel something here. I think Bonfim probably submits him, but those prices suck. So I'll go very small bets here. Oh, son of a bitch. Dude, Wonder Boy looks so old tonight, I actually might have to bail. Oh, no. He looks so old tonight. Dude, you know what's so sad, guys? I'm pretty sure that Calvin has now has a losing record in the UFC after tonight. That is just devastating. Calvin Kattar was a good fighter, and his career just fell off completely after the Max Holloway fight, and he never really was able to recover it. So that one win against Giga Chikadze will go down as like his last hurrah. Never was able to build on that. Sad. You know what? What's either fighter by KO at plus 340 is kind of interesting. Plus 370 on FanDuel. Just because I do think I think Bonfim could knock him out, and I also think that Wonder Boy could knock out Bonfim, but this should be an interesting one. It's probably a Bonfim first round sub. If tonight had a theme, then it will be Wonder Boy getting absolutely stomped in maybe the most embarrassing way possible, because that's been what's happening to older fighters today. He ended Giga's career relevance and then dipped. I respect it. Absolutely, Cam. And he deserves credit for that. Everybody was very high on Giga after that. I remember Giga beat Edson in a fight where he looked like he was starting to gas, and then everybody was like, oh, he's the man. Like, maybe. I am putting a very small wager on Wonder Boy KO 2-3 if I could get it down. And I know it's going to lose. But I have to have it, because if I don't have it and all my sharp friends have it, then I'm going to feel sick to my stomach. And I do know some sharp people that bet the Wonder Boy late KO angles. And again, it's just because if Bonfim is not getting takedowns here, I think he's going to have a hard time covering his price tag. If he's getting takedowns, probably going to look like easy money for Bonfim. So that's always the risk that you take going in when it's a striker grappler type of dynamic. Bonfim's not a bad striker, but he's kind of like Mora. He relies on athleticism. He relies on power. And I think that those kind of things, when you go up against somebody with experience who can throw a little bit more volume out there, it can give you a little bit of trouble. So second biggest dog price of Wonder Boy's storied UFC career. It shall be done. Wonder Man. All right, guys, here we go. Blake Grice is the referee. Not super familiar with Blake's work. And if Wonder Boy doesn't look ancient, I will look to live him after round 1 potentially, but that will be my decision point. Grab some small either KO, tiny bets. All right, here we go, guys. 4:49, 48, 47 on the clock. Wonder Boy's occupying center, throws a nice outside low kick, and it's answered by an outside low kick from Bonfim. Bonfim is in the orthodox stance, southpaw for Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, and a lot of low kicks from Bonfim early. Wonderboy's trying to keep his competitive. Oh, wow. That was a beautiful calf kick from Bonfim. Bonfim, guys, I'll tell you right now, he has the right idea against Wonderboy. the best thing you could do against Wonderboy, instead of trying to punch his head, which is extremely elusive, is to kick him in the calf as hard as you can. We saw Anthony Pettis put this game plan out there to near perfection against Wonderboy, where he chopped down the leg. And despite being a lightweight fighting a welterweight, he was able to chop down the leg, get Wonderboy to be a bit more stationary, and then he was able to find him down the middle with his power shots. I think it was a big jumping Superman punch from Anthony Pettis that put him in the dirt, out cold. So Bonfim has a chance to do that if he's able to shut down the calf especially. Wonderboy's looking to show some feints. Now he does a better job pulling his leg back. A nice retraction, avoids the low kick. Bonfim is doing a lot of retreating motions here. Something to watch for if the fight goes long. Nice right hand from Bonfim. May have been just out of range, but he showed some good speed on it, good timing. Wonderboy gets him to back up with the feinted lead kick. Oh, nice job. Wonderboy just put a toe in his eye, maybe. He definitely snapped a head kick up there. I'm not sure exactly what landed, what fleshy part of the foot. Wonderboy's doing a decent job. He's holding his own right now. He already looks better than Calvin Kattar, I'll tell you that. No disrespect. But Wonderboy is at least here to fight. He's showing some offense. Bonfim's doing a good job going to these low kicks, though, guys. Bonfim KO is going to open up here if he's able to continue to go to these calf kicks like he's doing. Nice job. Now he shoots. That was a brilliant shot by Bonfim. Bonfim waited the right amount of time to shoot. Wonderboy did a good job getting tall here to defend, but now Bonfim elevates, and he's going to slam him down. Bonfim just looks 10 levels ahead of him on the mat. That was incredible. Beautiful job by Bonfim. Nice job by Wonderboy, though. Right back up to his feet. Built a base. Nice lift and return from Bonfim. Bonfim's using a lot of energy, though, guys. Again, if this fight gets out of this first round, I will like Wonderboy's chances. But right now, he's in dire straits. He's got to avoid this back take. Bonfim's trying to sell out for this back take. Wonderboy has his feet under him. Bonfim's trying to squeeze across to the other side. This is a dire situation for Wonderboy. If he cannot defend this, the fight will be over. I think Bonfim got him. Guys. Bonfim's going for this short choke. Wonderboy's not tapping, but he's in a bad spot right now, guys. It's right across his face and his jawline. He might have to give up from pain here. He's able to survive it so far. Wow, Wonderboy is an incredibly tough fighter. Wow, and he's now on top. Wonderboy is a dog, guys. Wonderboy is an absolute dog. Oh my goodness, Bonfim looks like he spent a lot of energy. Wonderboy looks like he's trying to sprawl out on Bonfim, and Bonfim might be a little tie-tie. It might be time. Let's go look. Wonderboy, plus 600 for Wonderboy. Give me a small bet on that. I mean, I have to find out at that number. He just got out from the worst position with Bonfim. You kidding me? Let's find out at that number. Plus 600, they say? I don't get that, guys. Am I crazy? Am I smoking crack rock? I feel like Wonderboy's fighting good. Wonderboy just defended a back take and then was on the top position, and Bonfim looked a little fatigued. I think Bonfim spent a lot of energy, guys. I'll just tell you, if you've never wrestled before, when you lift somebody and return them like that twice in a row, we have kids drill that every day at practice over and over because it's fatiguing. It gets you tired. You need to be able to do that when you're tired. It's a skill. Wonderboy kicked to the body. He's walking him down. I love you, Wonderboy. You're a dog for this. He just got hit with a clean left, though. Wow. Wonderboy just got hit while he was on one foot, somehow still standing. Wonderboy blitzing combination, landed a couple there. I think Wonderboy could actually win this fight in the clinch, as crazy as that sounds. The knees to the body were a huge problem for Bonfim against Dalby, and just there, they both spun and kicked into each other. Such a weird fight, such a weird round. I think that's a Bonfim round because of the low kicks, but I think Wonderboy's confidence is big, coming back from that, because Wonderboy... Small Wonderboy live plus 600. He looks solid in terms of cardio. And he defended the worst grappling spots already, in my humble opinion. So, wow. Could I see Wonderboy, capitulating later in this fight? Yeah, maybe. But again, what have I seen so far? I saw a competitive exchange between these guys, you know, and oh, damn, they wouldn't let me get back in on. I tried to add to the plus 600 guys, and they blocked me out of the plus 600. But I got one in at plus 600. I tried to bet it again. They spun me out. These damn bookies. I just think Wonder Boy knows he has them, says Cam. I do tend to agree that he built a lot of confidence from defending that initial grappling onslaught. Let's see here. I want to see his opponent, what he looks like. I want to see if he's huffing wind at all. Oh, he forgot his mouthpiece, bro. They're doing dirty tactics, bro. They're doing dirty tactics, bro. That's to give him an extra couple seconds break, man. What? That's crazy. Giving him breaks. Now you got Wonder Boy holding the center. Wonder Boy, big hook kick. Falls just a little short. Bonfim looks like he's just trying to get his energy systems back up. He's kind of gotten away from the calf kicks that were really working for him. He just went for a big open side swinging body kick. Didn't come close. There's a little low kick, but a lot less sting on it. And now Wonder Boy answers. Nice shot from Bonfim. Wonder Boy D's it up. Wonder Boy D's it up. Wonder Boy D's it up. Nice job. Good stick-to-itiveness from Bonfim to get back up into the clinch. But that was really smart from Wonder Boy, guys. What he focused on there was forcing the head to the mat. When your head is on the mat, you are weak, period. Right? Unless you are under your own power, controlling where your head goes. Where the head goes, the body goes. So he prevented him from coming up around the body by forcing the head down to the mat. Then Bonfim made a good adjustment, tried to roll off to a double. Nice knee to the body from Wonder Boy, and he gave him a wink. Bro, Wonder Boy is fucking cooking with gas right now. Wonder Boy might just have something for him right now. The young man just got kneed in the body, and that's the same thing that led to his undoing against Nicholas Dalby. Nice intercepting combination from Wonder Boy. I believe Wonder Boy is taking over this second round. Nice inside low kick from Bonfim, though. Bonfim with another inside low kick. Wonder Boy blitzing combination. Counter left hand from Bonfim. Now an inside low kick gets checked. Nice blitzing combination from Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. He landed the 1-2. He got Bonfim out of his stance. Another inside low kick from Bonfim. Body kick from Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Head kick from Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Partially blocked. Wonderboy's doing a great job implementing these kicks in the second round. Now that Bonfim slowed down, the kicks are becoming available for Wonderboy. Wonderboy skirts out of the range. Now he's back to the center. Beautiful job by Wonderboy Thompson. Man, Wonderboy's showing age isn't everything. Age is something. It isn't everything. Gray hairs and all. Nice jab to the face. Wonderboy is taking over this second round right now. He looks sharp. He looks dialed. He just went for a spin kick and then a sprawl. Guys, he spun kick. Then perfect timing from Bonfim. He spins, go for a shot. And Wonderboy still D'd it up. Now another shot from Bonfim. This is where it's all going to come down to for Wonderboy. Lift and return for Bonfim. Oh, that was beautiful grappling by Bonfim. Bonfim's now trying to sneak in a hook. This is critical for Wonderboy Thompson. He can't let him settle here. He needs to keep this man working. If he keeps him working, Wonderboy can make him so fatigued, he could potentially get him out of there in the third round. Right now, Bonfim is desperate to hold on to this clinch scenario. Wonderboy's doing a good job slowly fighting and separating the hands. He needs to turn in and then throw a knee to the body. That would be critical. Wonderboy's doing a good job fighting hands here. Hands are separated. Wonderboy's broken the grip. He now needs to turn. Bonfim is comfortable just standing here, though, guys. I think Wonderboy needs to turn up the speed. Nice job, and he single legs off. Guys, Wonderboy Thompson is here to fucking win. He's not just here to fight. He is here to fucking win. Defends the takedown, and he's back on the offense. Nice jab to the body. Wonderboy has outlanded him to the head. The low kick's in favor of Bonfim. Wonderboy's backed up to the fence right here. He needs to come out swinging. Nice head kick from fucking Wonderboy. What a dog. Wonderboy. Wonder Man. What a fucking dog. Nice jab. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. What a fucking fighter, man. Oh, he just got hit with a big right hand, though. He's got to be careful here. He needs to get that one back. That was a nice shot from Bonfim. Wonderboy answers with a combination and smiles. 35 on the clock. This could be pivotal. I think Wonderboy's clearly won the second round, but that was a nice right hand from Bonfim. I do not want... Oh, no. Wonderboy just slipped on a kick. No, he might have just lost a round based on that. Fuck. He just slipped on a kick, and it looked like he... Oh, a judge could mistake that for a knockdown. We might be fucked now. That sucks. Nice head kick, though. Oh, and he staggered him. He staggered. Nicely done, Wonderboy. Wonderboy just got the fucking second round back. Wonderboy just got the second round back. Wonderboy. Wonderman. 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 If Wonderman finishes him in the third round, I'm about to fucking lose it. If Wonderman finishes him in the third round, I'm about to fucking lose it. Do you hear me? Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you hear the words coming out of my mouth? If Wonderman wins in the third, I'm about to fucking lose it. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. We got ahead of ourselves with Nate Landwehr. Nothing has happened. Let's fucking go, Wonderboy, please. That's all I'm going to say. Wonderboy, please go do your thing. Please do it. Please do your thing, Wonderboy. That's all I'm going to say. Wonderboy, please keep doing your fucking thing. Oh my goodness. What a fight. Guys, this is what fighting is all about. This is why we come to these streams. That last fight, I didn't have the same energy, and it's because the fighters weren't giving me the energy. And that's okay. Sometimes they can't all be perfect, right? But this fight is a fucking banger. And what are we doing? We're talking about it like a banger. We're treating it like a banger. They're out here going, throwing. Right now, what I'm seeing is that I believe it is 1 round to 1 round. I believe the first round went to Bonfim. I think it was extremely close. I think the second round went to Wonderboy. I think that this is all to play for in the third round. I think Wonderboy is slightly fresher, but he's also bleeding badly from his shin, which they have shown on the video. So this is anybody's to play for. Huge fight, major stakes. Let's find out right now. I hope that Wonderboy can go out there and put the sealing deal on this fight. He's again forced to defend a single leg right off the rip. And he does a great job doing so. Beautiful takedown defense from Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. He did an excellent job pushing him to the single leg, forcing him down the lever. Bonfim is trying so desperately to get this takedown. He just spent a lot of energy and didn't get it. 25 seconds down in this third round. I think Wonderboy has all the momentum right now. He needs to keep this fight upright, and he needs to look for damaging shots on the feet that are eye-catching for the judges. Nice job. He circles off the fence. We got 4:20 on the clock. A disgusting bloody leg from Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Again, this could cost him in the eyes of the judges because it is visually bad, but they normally don't credit low kicks. And I believe that Wonderboy checked a low kick or something and tore his own shin to sunders. He's still throwing that kick brutally at the head despite the blood. He is a savage. He is an absolute fucking fighter, guys. He fought for the title years ago when I was first becoming a fan of fighting. He was one of the guys that was already considered like an OG from the striking community, and now he's an OG in the MMA community. He has earned all of our respect and then some. He is fighting like a man, and he's a man that is 40. What a fucking fight right now. And Gabriel Bonfim still trying, still swinging, still throwing. Coming forward, looking for takedowns. But guys, he's getting D'd up in the takedown department right now. He just got the double underhooks. This is where this fight will be made or broken right now for Gabriel Bonfim. He has an open mouth. He's looking at the clock. He looks extremely fatigued in my mind, but he's doing a good job chipping away with these low strikes to the leg. And Wonderboy does have a bloody, bloody shin that could get the fight stopped by a doctor or something. So I'm very worried about that. But I think right now, Wonderboy Thompson has the skills and the abilities to win this fight. There's 3 minutes left. He needs to get his back off the fence. He's got an underhook on the right side. He's got a shallow overhook with wrist control on the other side. He needs to circle off. He cannot spend too much time here. He does a great job barreling underneath, getting to double unders of his own. Nice job, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Now separate or use knees to the body. Bonfim is exhausted right now. Nice elbow on the break from Wonderboy. Bonfim looks to be very fatigued, but he is a tough guy. He's not quitting on himself. He's still fighting very hard. He still wants this win. For him, grappling is necessary because he's fatigued and he wants to put himself in a position to win. But for Wonderboy, space is his friend right now. He's doing a better job at space than Bonfim, and he's keeping Bonfim honest with his shots. He did just miss a big spinning kick Bonfim comes forward with a 1-2. I'd like to see basic offense from Wonderboy Thompson. Kicks to the body, kicks upstairs. That's what I want to see from Wonderboy. Eye-catching shots that the refs and the judges cannot deny. Nice! Oh, a big head kick from Steven. A big head kick from Steven Wonderboy Thompson. And now there's blood all over the forehead of Bonfim, and it's from Wonderboy's calf, or his shin, excuse me. Wonderboy's getting backed up a little bit to the fence. 1:46 on the clock. Nice job with the body kick. Now he goes for the sprawl again. Fuck, this was a beautiful takedown entry from Bonfim, and he finally gets the takedown. Wonderboy explodes back up to his hip. Wonderboy explodes back up to his hip. He needs to keep working. 1:32 on the clock. Short time here. Wonderboy's reaching back for a whizzer. He doesn't quite have it. He's doing damage with short shots. Now he's going to the dogfight position, and he gets back up, and Bonfim rips him back down. Wonderboy's trying to get back up. 1:18 on the clock. Bonfim's going for a lift and return. He can't quite get it. Wonderboy's back in the rear waist cinch. He's looking to fight hands here. Bonfim's looking to get explosive and lift and return. Oh my goodness, guys. High stakes here. Short time left in the fight. Short time left in the round. All to play for here in the third. Wonderboy, I believe, has done significantly more damage in this round. But there's been, at least some periods of control for Bonfim. There's been some arguments you could make for his side. He got the takedown, but I do believe Wonderboy's done more damage. So right now we need to find out who's going to win this. There's 44 seconds left, and somebody needs to do something to separate themselves. It's a close fight. The ref is thinking about separating them from the fence right now because Bonfim's doing nothing with it. He's just holding. Nice job from Wonderboy. He reverses the position. Now Bonfim reverses again. Oh, this is a disaster for Wonderboy. He might get taken down again late. And he's giving up the back rear waist cinch. He's doing such a good job staying upright and landing short shots. But the visuals aren't great because he's been controlled in the clinch. And he just went for a hip throw. I think that's such a bad idea. Now there's 10 seconds left. Oh, this fight is going to be a really close decision, guys. It's going to be a really close decision. I don't know exactly who won it. I really hope it's Wonderboy, but I don't know. I think that Wonderboy might have lost it just on optics late, but Wine Time says Bonfim won this fight. I mean, brother, if you laid the price with Bonfim, just go ahead and go to church tomorrow or, say your prayers or whatever you got to do, because that was an absolutely horrible bet. Wonderboy was clearly the money line side there. I think Wonderboy won the fight, honestly, but I think that the positions late, like if you say who did more damage, I think Wonderboy did more damage. But ultimately, in a 10-9 must system, I think it could go either way. I think rounds 1 and 3 were extremely close. Thought round 2 was a Wonderboy round, also was a close round. So I can't really blame anybody for wherever the scorecards end up here, honestly. Let's see. I'm going to try and see if I can find anything on Twitter. Man, I don't know. I'm not seeing a lot of takes here. Hold on. My guy says, thank you, great job calling the fight. Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Othniel. By what rule set is supposed to be? I have 29-28 Wonderboy. Oh, goodness. I'm seeing 29-28 Wonderboy via damage. Better be 2-1 Wonderboy. Bonfim didn't want to fight in round 3. I give it to Wonderboy. Oh, boy. I really hope that this is a Wonderboy win, guys. I really hope. I have no clue. It was Bonfim. Damn. Yeah, exactly. Cameron said UFC needs a Brazilian star. So, man, that's really gutting. I thought Wonderboy did better work in that fight, but whatever. Life goes on. I mean, Bonfim literally didn't fight in the third round, bro. He literally just tried to grapple for his life, but whatever. Was it a unanimous or a split decision, guys? Dude, I can't believe that, man. I really can't. That was a bad. I did not think that was a good decision. I'll rewatch it and see if I was being biased, but like I'm not sure what damaging shots Gabriel landed in that third round. Man. Oh, it was a split decision. Fuck, dude, that's so disgusting, guys. Dude, first of all, brother, stats are not everything, okay? 5 takedowns and 5 minutes of control time split throughout all portions of the fight. Again, I'm saying they were close rounds. That's fair. But, dude, what damage did he do in that third round? I'm still waiting for an answer. I didn't hear it, but all good. All good. Bad decision from MMA Adam Martin. Stephen Thompson won that fight. I agree. They literally gave Bonfim that third round on the judges' scorecards. Just disgusting, man. Oh, and it was such an electric experience watching that fight. And then again, it's like the wet fart at the end. They just take away the result. I thought Wonderboy clearly won that fight, but close but clear. I really did think so. And to lose on the plus 600 and the plus 350 and whatever, it's fucking disgusting, man. That is disgusting. Okay. Well, now my enthusiasm is once again killed for this last fight of the night. It's probably going to be the Brazilian guy because Brazil is not allowed to lose tonight. I've now learned that. Thank you, UFC. I've picked up what you're putting down. Just fucking theft, man. Fucking theft. The UFC will always give it to the company guy if it's anywhere close. A constant and shrill reminder of that fact is what we got tonight. Fucking sickening, dude. Oh, goodness. That soured my mood considerably, guys. Wonderboy deserved that fucking win. That's the second guy who's like an older guy who deserves something good to happen to them. Nate the Train comes out minus 360 entering the third round, loses, gets knocked out. Okay, shake it off. Wonderboy comes out, fucking clearly wins, gets robbed on the cards. Fucking brutal. Absolutely brutal. And it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. They gave Bonfim the third round for not fighting. That is actually what he got rewarded for in that third round. Anti-fighting. He did anything he could to not fight in that round. He was like, it's fucking filter feeding out there. But whatever, man. The fade equity on Gabriel Bonfim is increasing. There's been 4 subs and 3 KOs tonight. 4 decisions, 2 unanimous, 2 split. Oh, all right, guys. Well, we might as well go over this main event. And Cam is right. It's been a solid card. I just will say it was a solid card until that Cater and Garcia fight, and it has just been fucking the drizzling shits since then. Because again, we had the peaks and valleys of this Wonderboy fight. And then the ultimate peak should have been Wonder Boy gets his hand raised, and instead they just wet fart the energy out of the arena by having him lose to a guy who did very little. So vibe killers for sure. Exactly. It's like watching a guy go out there and fight. I mean, honestly, it was 3 in a row because that Morgan Charrier knockout, as cool as it was kind of disheartening, you know? Nate fought his ass off and deserved that win. I feel like just again by the merits of the universe, everything he's done for the company, gone out there, hard fights, goes out, he's minus 360, he's putting it on him, and then just gets absolutely starched. I want this next fight to be Lewis versus Ronda's husband too, Black Beast KO. Yeah, I mean, certainly very possible. My article prediction here, I'll share it on screen, was Tallison Teixeira KO 1-2 or Derrick Lewis via KO 2-3. Just like that Bonfim fight, they were booking it because people know who Wonder Boy is. They're still learning about Bonfim. They want people to know who this Tallison Teixeira guy is. He's big, he's long, he's awkward, he's got some skills at heavyweight, which most guys don't. On the other side, though, Derrick Lewis literally has more wins in round 2, 3, and 4 than this guy has in his professional career. So for me, I think Tallison Teixeira is probably going to beat him. One thing I will look at if the fight isn't closed. Let's see. Is this fight closed already? No, it doesn't look like it. Fucking A. They've taken down the method of victory market. So let me check on my phone. I'll go on Picket and see what the best prices are real quick. Again, if anybody's on the Lewis side, I would just think about taking Lewis on the money line. Right now, I'm looking and seeing Derrick Lewis is plus 245 on the money line. Is most of his path to victory a KO? Absolutely, very clearly. But if you're looking at the KO prop for Derrick Lewis, it's plus 275. So, for 30 cents of value or whatever, I really don't think you're wise to get cute there personally. What I'm going to take really quick is I'm going to go on ESPN Bet, and I'm going to grab Tallison sub plus 850 tiny on ESPN Bet. So I, again, am just looking at the market, right? And most of the market is pricing this at 7-1 and even a little bit lower. Derrick Lewis is not easy to submit, right? He's a guy that's worked on his jiu-jitsu, all that stuff. So again, could he go out there and knock him out? I think that's very possible. But a guy like Tallison Teixeira, who has only one career win by submission, to see a lot of books respecting his sub down at the 7-1 type price, it does feel to me like he has a grappling pedigree that could, come through for him, right? So it's you look at the guy, I believe he's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, and Derrick Lewis is the best blue belt in Texas, but we've seen before, I think back to a fight that he had with, what's that gentleman's name? Sergey Spivak, right? He had a Sergey Spivak fight, and Sergey Spivak basically took him down, head and arm choke. It was a absolutely disgusting look. So I don't think that, there's anything wrong with saying hey, Derrick can knock this guy out. Of course he can. And I think that Tallison could knock out Derrick. Derrick's not that good at taking damage, honestly. But when I just think if these guys get into grappling exchanges, even if Lewis is on top, this guy could roll for an armbar and cash this ticket real quick. So at plus 850, just like our boy Vitor Petrino, we'll get a similar price, and we'll hope that the bad grappling historically of Derrick Lewis rears its ugly head, and also his willingness to just, basically quit, right? And again, I don't mean this to be disrespectful to Derrick Lewis. He's a guy that's gone out there and fought a million times. He's willing to get in there and exchange and do all these things, but he's facing somebody younger by 15 years. A guy that does have an ability to potentially mix it up with him on the mat. And I will just say this as well, guys. I went back and rewatched the Tafa fight, and I am 99% sure that Tallison Teixeira knocked him out by accident. And what do I mean by that? I think he went to go take him down, went to go get his wrestling going, shoots a takedown, pushes him into the fence. And then while he was trying to pursue a takedown, Tafa's trying to defend. He goes for an elbow, and then he hurts him, right? So I think that he was trying to push some wrestling and some grappling there. And I do think he's going to try to push some wrestling and some grappling here. I'm rooting for Derrick Lewis KO. That would be much more fun. But Tallison Teixeira by sub, I think, is a way to play him that doesn't involve trusting his cardio and stuff like that, right? Because I do think Tallison Teixeira is a complete unknown when it comes to how he's going to do in long and extended fights, right? All right. Let's see. We're not even making walkouts yet. Damn, they're taking forever tonight. Here, let's go ahead and put this out there. So now everything is graded, guys. Plus 7 units on the night. We'll take that. We'll take that. My guy says Tallison 1+ takedown at, I think that's plus 240 you're saying. I don't hate that look, but the one thing is, I think that it's not impossible he goes for like an armbar from the guard. As crazy as that sounds, Derrick Lewis does sometimes press his own wrestling and his own takedowns. And I think that it could be like a guard type sub, lower percentage, but just the kind of thing where that's why I like the sub at plus 850, gives you a couple different more outs. Because I don't know if Tallison's going to look to wrestle really aggressively. The other thing is, could be a club and sub, right? He knocks him down, follows him to the ground, gets the submission via rear naked choke, something like that. So I think there's a couple different ways you could look at this. But basically, it feels like Tallison Teixeira in his interviews and everything else is saying like he wants to go out there and show that he can wrestle and grapple with a guy like Derrick Lewis. I think that's kind of a mistake in terms of like general strategy, but it's yet to be seen, right? Maybe his ground game's so good that he just takes him down and owns him on the mat. So I think that for Jailton Almeida, knowing it was a 5-round fight, he went out there and basically decided, like, I need to be super conservative. He would lock up a submission, and instead of like getting off to the side with it, he would just hold on to it, take some deep breaths, make sure he wasn't spending too much energy. And I just don't know that Tallison Teixeira, a guy who's never been outside the first round, will show that same kind of tact, right? Like if he's on top, he's going to be going crazy, looking for offense, in my opinion. And that could be, for better or worse. But in terms of the big plus odds, I'll take that. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm seeing Tallison Teixeira to win in round 1 is minus 105. I mean, I can't imagine taking that kind of price on that kind of bet, Not great. Just not great. But tonight, guys, I must say, we can't let the last few fights that haven't been super thrilling get us down, because 7 unit profits on the night. Very happy with that result. 297% ROI. Lord willing, we can keep that ball rolling for the rest of the year. I've said that my goal is to get to the end of the year with a 25% ROI greater than, 20% ROI, more than 25 units profit. That's my goal. Everybody's got different goals. Everybody's reaching for different things. I'm trying to keep small risk profiles, not go out there and bet, too much, over bet your edge, that kind of thing. Simple basics. We took a little profit, on the night, and now it's right back to work. And we know that the bookie's not going to pay us for the work that we did last week, right? So as soon as I get off the air here, I'm going to, yeah, my guy Monotone says, missed the last couple fights, hoping for a meme here. That's fair play, and you missed the right fights, my brother. They robbed Wonderboy Thompson. That's a humble opinion from me, but we bet him live plus 600. I thought he deserved the nod, and ultimately didn't get it. There'll be some controversy in the Twitter streets about that fight, no doubt. Steve Garcia cleanly beat Calvin Kattar. It was just sad to watch. Calvin Kattar looked more washed than, your local laundromat. So his career in the UFC, unfortunately, is over. And now, we've got Derrick Lewis. We've got Tallison Teixeira. And I'm hoping that Tallison Teixeira goes out there and puts on a Brazilian clinic because we've been seeing Brazil tonight. Gabriel Bonfim gets the win via split decision. Vitor Petrino gets the win via submission in the first round. We had Eduardo Moura gets the win via unanimous decision. We had Walter Walker get the win via heel hook in the first round. Can we close out the night for Brazil with a submission in the first round for Tallison Teixeira? I would love to see it. It would make me quite happy. So that's what I'm rooting for, guys. Teixeira sub 1 and 2 is like 12. Oh, the world needs a parlay buster, says Tron. Hey, that's possible. I do think parlay busters so far tonight. Garcia and Cater GTD probably was a buster. Bonfim and Thompson fight doesn't go the distance is what I'm talking about. Probably a buster. Tuco Tokos was a buster. Jake Matthews was a buster, and Walter Walker were busters. So they have had 3 busters. Obviously not a lot on the main card. I think just Tuco Tokos in terms of main card underdog. So certainly Derrick Lewis fits the bill of a potential parlay buster. No doubt about it. Tuco Tokos was on the main card. And he did win. He was an underdog. Oh, I totally get it. I kind of want Lewis by KO. That would be fun. Hey, I'm not a person that hates on fun, right? I will definitely take fun. That Morgan Chenier knockout wasn't fun because of how it happened and who it happened to, but it was still a nice knockout. So credit where it's due. But the other one, I mean, there's nothing fun about watching somebody get jobbed out on the cards on their 42nd birthday or whatever it is. It's like, that's just brutal. Gabriel Bonfim didn't need that decision. Wonderboy needed that decision and he didn't get it. Hey, best of luck to all you guys. I'm going to be chugging this down out of respect for my viewers and my audience right now. So the mixed drink will be no more. I still got a can of 13% Long Island iced tea that my lady procured that I will happily drink through a shoe if we get 10 donos before the end of the fucking main event. I hope that I've cashed you guys out a little bit tonight. I hope we've all made some money. Peace, love, and chicken grease to each and every one of you guys. My guy Monotone says on Tallison small and parlays, hoping for Lewis KO just for the mic time. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. You see what a great knockout will do for your career. Look at Chris Curtis, goes out there, gets the win, and I don't even think he got any mic time because it was so cut and dry. Loses round 1, complained to the refs, and then wins round 2 and 3, but didn't really put his foot on the gas. They were like, yeah, thanks anyway, man. No interview for you. All right, guys, let's see here. The Black Beast has made it to the danger zone. He's about to step inside the octagon. Here, we'll go full screen. I'm going to chug this for the culture for you guys. So cheers to all of you guys. I hope that you guys are enjoying. If you're sipping an adult beverage, tilt one back. Cheers to you. Excuse me, an athletic chug. 2 respectable belches, and now we're done. We're ready to call the main event of the evening. It is time to find out. Is Tallison Teixeira the real deal Holyfield? Or does the Black Beast, Derrick Lewis, have another bullet in the chamber? My guy Cam, cheers to you, brother. He said he was chugging with me. Bless you for it. My girl wanted me to put 100 on first round Lewis KO. Listen, dude. Derrick Lewis can knock out any man, woman, or child. I've said that phrase before. It's a dangerous one. It's a true one. When you look at this guy, some fighters are athletes. They're sportsmen. Wonderboy Thompson, I would put him under that category. He's not trying to hurt people. He just does it by dint of the fact that he's a good fighter, right? But hurting people is not something he likes or enjoys. I do not think that you look at a guy like Derrick Lewis and say to yourself, like, well, this guy's a sportsman. This guy's an athlete, right? He is those things, but he's also a convict. He's also a criminal. Derrick Lewis will hurt you and then laugh in your face, dude. He is just built differently. So if you have any doubt in your mind that Derrick Lewis can do violence to this guy, I think that is an illusion. But that being said, Tallison Teixeira is a big man. He does fight long. I think he's the more technical guy of these two by a pretty significant margin. And I think he's got a path to looking like a big favorite, which is keep this guy at the end of your range. If you guys went back and watched, I'm pretty sure Cyril Gane Don't quote me on this because I'd have to go back and fact check. I'm pretty sure Ciryl Gane was a minus 165 favorite against Derrick Lewis when I bet him in that title fight. And he absolutely went out there and worked him, like a part-time job. So I think that if you see Tallison Teixeira use his long kicks and maybe he's got 15 minutes of cardio that we don't know about, he could make this look super easy. But if you want to just bang it out with Derrick Lewis, any man could fall. So I think Tallison should be a favorite here, but I don't know about this price tag, the minus 300 type deal. So for me to stay away on the money line side, I got a tiny sprinkle on the submission, but I'm just hopeful for some violence here in the main event. We've had a good night overall. We've had a great time on the mic. I appreciate everybody for rocking with me. If you guys have enjoyed, make sure you hit the like button, and we're about to get underway here. We got Bruce Buffer telling us it is time for the main event of the evening, just about midnight Eastern here in my local time zone. So I want to say cheers to you. My man's taking an iced tea. Cheers. I still got the iced tea cold and ready to go if we need to. Just a brutal spider tattoo. Fair. As somebody with bad tattoos, Tallison is bordering on Elkins territory. Woohoo. Main event. Let's effing go, Justin. Appreciate you for being here. The chat is rowdy. The live crowd in Nashville, Tennessee looks to be rowdy. I love Nashville, Tennessee. If y'all have never been, fantastic place to go visit. Great chicken, great live music, fun atmosphere, very kind people. I had nothing but good things to say about Nashville. So I'm excited for them. I hope that they get a great main event here. And now they're introducing the Black Beast, the fan favorite, the KO king of the UFC. His name is Derrick Lewis, the Black Beast. He's trimmed down pretty considerably. He's 261 pounds in this fight. He used to have to cut to the 265-pound limit. So now Derrick Lewis showing up a little bit trimmer in his old age. He is going to be 40, and that's definitely up there. But in heavyweight fighting, you can sometimes get away with that for a little bit longer. He's fighting a 25-year-old, guys, in Tallison Teixeira, who should just be coming into the prime of his athletic life. Let's find out. Nothing left to do. No more talking. Just the fight now. And I can't wait to call it for you guys. If you guys enjoy this commentary, please make sure before you get out of here, drop a comment, help other people find these streams. It means the world to me. I'm trying to get my numbers up on YouTube. My numbers went down like 10, 12 subscribers over the course of that off week. I just didn't have much to say with no UFC events going on. We've got UFC events for the next 8 weeks in a row. We've got Contender Series coming up where we have absolutely crushed in the past. So knock on wood, you guys will stick around for all that we've got coming up in the future as well. Hit that subscribe button if you've enjoyed the conversation. But with that being said, talking's over. It's time to fight. And away we go. 457, 56, 55. Tallison Teixeira, the larger man, occupying center. Derrick Lewis swings out with a right-hand lead. Didn't come close. Jumping switch kick from Derrick Lewis. Now a right hand. Derrick got wild a little bit early. Derrick might be hurt already to the eye. Something might have hit Derrick Lewis in the eye. Derrick still landed a nice shot and he dropped him. Oh my God, Derrick Lewis just dropped him bad. Derrick Lewis just dropped him bad. Now Tallison Teixeira is scrambling. Tallison Teixeira is scrambling, but he's face down. And guys, this fight might be over before it started. Tallison Teixeira is scrambling back up to his feet. He's hurt. He grabbed the fence. They called it? Wow. That was a premature stoppage. I'm just going to be honest, guys. That was a premature stoppage. Nice job by Derrick Lewis. Well done. Hats off to him, right? I don't understand that stoppage. Perhaps somebody in the chat disagrees. You guys could tell me if I'm crazy. Wow. Yeah, I think that was a really early stoppage, but hats off to Derrick Lewis. Hats off to Derrick Lewis. Yeah, Monotone says that stoppage. Yikes. I mean, that was – see, this is the thing. Herzog 100% saw the fence grab and stopped the fight. When you grab the fence and they stop the fight, like, that's fair, right? If they stop the fight and say, hey, you grab the fence, -1 point, hold on a second, right? But because he was kind of hurt, they didn't want to stop it and say, like, hey, like, give him a chance to recover. But he wasn't knocked out. He was fully awake and standing back up to his feet. So that's just insane for me, man. Love the stream, says Brandon. Hey, Brandon, cheers to you, my brother. I appreciate you. First dono of the night, and I'll say we're gonna crack this open. If I need to get another one from the ye old refrigerator, we'll do that. But I'll at least put my drink in a glass, and I'll finish this before I get out of here with you guys. That I could do out of love and respect for the chat, for the fact that we got our first dono of the evening. But yeah, my guy Monotone, it feels so bad because you missed it before when we were just talking about the fact that this card started so hot and it has just ended with wet fart after wet fart after wet fart. And now let's go back and let's go through categorically what has just happened to us, guys. We saw a absolute stinker between Calvin Kattar and Steve Garcia, where Steve Garcia won the most boring fight of his entire career. Congratulations, Steve. It was a burden for the rest of us to have to watch that. Keep in mind, the honorable mention wet fart before this was that Nate Landwehr was minus 360 as a plus 200 underdog entering the third round, and then he got absolutely starched 20 seconds into the third round. Disgusting, disgusting run out. So that's the honorable mention. We go right from that. Okay, wet fart of Nate Landwehr almost winning, then falling off. No problem. We move to Steve Garcia, Calvin Kattar, wet fart of a fight. The entire thing sucks. Then we move from there. We go to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, Gabriel Bonfim. The fight had some life to it. Third round, absolutely nothing happened from Gabriel Bonfim offensively that would win him around in MMA. In a wrestling match, sure. In a grappling match, absolutely. He did no damage in that entire round, and they give him the fight anyway. So it's like, okay, so it was a fun enough fight. But then the fight has all the magic taken away when the dog who should have came through at 40 some odd years of age gets told no via a close robbery split decision. Disgusting. Yeah, shout out to Tron's girl. That's hilarious. Turns out my chicken's the sharpest capper in the game. Absolutely. But are y'all seeing what I'm seeing here? Where fucking another one where it just wet fart. Derrick Lewis deserved a walk-off brilliant KO there, and he probably would have got it if they gave him another 30 seconds. But instead, we were dealing with controversy because Herzog wanted to jump the gun too early. But shout out to my guy Tron, bro. Drops the dono after cleaning up on Derrick Lewis via knockout. So shout out to all the Derrick Lewis backers, yo. I will say, you just need to trust your gut in this game. Derrick Lewis can knock out any man, woman, or child. Said it before the fight, still true after the fight, and it's true next week too. So what a freaking guy, man. Derrick Lewis at 40 years of age, I said it. He showed up in the best shape of his life. You can't discount that either at all. So shout out to Derrick, man. He did everything right. And I will say this. I learned my lesson laying chalk against Derrick. I think I laid like minus 118 on Rogerio de Lima. He closed like what, minus 200, minus 230, and he got smoked in the first minute. So again, Derrick Lewis can make you eat your words so fast. I bet ITD on Curtis Blades against Derrick Lewis back in the day, and that was when I learned my other lesson, right? I've learned my lesson with this Derrick Lewis character, bro. You can't get out over your skis. Shout out to Tron. Appreciate you again for the dono, brother. You're far too kind. And Cam Junkin, great show, Liam, with the $4.99 dono off the top rope as well. I truly appreciate all you guys. I hope that everybody did well, cleaned up. We talked about it a little bit before, but we'll circle back for anybody who missed. It's been a great night tonight on the betting streets. We got a lot of our work done on the prelims. We just had the Petrino submission on the main card. But other than that, we had pretty much done it before then. And, looking at plus money, that's always the way that my brain is wired. If there's something really that jumps out at me at chalk, I will occasionally go that way. But I just like to focus on plus money opportunities where I think that it has a greater chance to win than the odds imply. That's the definition of value. I don't try to overcomplicate it more than that. I thought the Xicao and Walker fight ended inside the distance, closer to plus 300, plus 250, maybe even plus 230. I thought that was a fair and accurate price. And so when I see plus 460 and I see that most of the market is at 325, 350, it's saying to me, you're right. They're wrong. Take the bet and live with the result. And that's what we did tonight. And it was a great night. But what do I always say, guys? Never let your highs get you too high. Never let your lows get you too low. If you had a great night tonight, congratulations to you. You did your job. Let's get right back to work. We got another card next week. We got plenty more opportunities. So you can enjoy it. You can take a breather, give yourself some space. Be a winner tonight. That's a good feeling. But just remember, the bookie's not going to pay you for the work you did last week. It's time to get back at it. If you want to win next week, you don't rest on your laurels. You say, okay, back to work. What went well? What did I do right? What were my good bets? What were the things I overlooked? What were the things that maybe were kind of foolish? Where were my bad reads? How do I clean up my work? And for me, I would probably make all these same bets again if given the opportunity. But the Chris Curtis round 2 and round 3 bets, maybe 0.1 units was a better risk assessment for each of those than 0.2 units, right? These are the kind of things, small adjustments. You don't have to make major tweaks to your system, but are you learning from your mistakes? Are you trying to get the best out of yourself? That's what I'm trying to do. Hit Derrick Lewis and under 0.5 rounds plus 1,400. Hey, insane value versus the giant who just swings and bangs. Nicely done. I will tell you, that was a great bet by you, man. And under a half a round. Ooh, you knew what you were getting yourself into, and that was fast, explosive. The fight to go under was pretty heavily juiced there, and for good reason. It made perfect sense to me. So I thought that Derrick would probably take a little more time to get into it in terms of his offense. He came out swinging like mad today, and it worked to his advantage, man. Experience does pay dividends, right? And you saw Tallison Teixeira kind of get overwhelmed a little bit in that fight. Did I think he was doing things right? Did I think it was a premature stoppage? Yes, on both those fronts. But Derrick Lewis has the experience. He's a junkyard dog, and he can knock out any man, woman, or child. So hats off to the Black Beasts. Guys, let's go over the entire card. We'll start at the beginning. We'll work our way up. We'll talk about what we learned from a betting standpoint. We'll talk about what we learned from a fighting standpoint, and then we'll move on from there. We'll give a little bit of a heat check on all these fighters. Right now, guys, Fatima Klein is special, straight up. Somebody to watch for in this division. You don't want to fuck with this girl. Her striking looked on point today. Her grappling wasn't maybe where I wanted it to be today, but I also think part of that was her playing around a little bit on the feet and wanting to get more experience there. It sounded like that's what she wanted to do. If you listen to the post-fight interview, she basically said, hey, listen, I'm trying to move around out there. I'm trying to get my striking up. I'm trying to get more comfortable with that part of my game. And she landed a beautiful, nasty head kick knockout. So Fatima Klein, remember the name, circle it. She's a big favorite in these fights for good reason. She actually can fight on the feet. She actually can wrestle. She actually can grapple. She's a tough challenge for a lot of these women at 115 pounds. And at 25 years of age, guys, she is 100% a prospect to watch for. I would not be surprised at all if she fights for a UFC title, period. Not just because I'm from New York, not just my New York biases. Fatima Klein is the real deal Holyfield. No doubt in my mind. Next up, we've got Mike Davis and Mitch Ramirez. Guys, Mike Davis looked absolutely horrific. I did not think that Mike Davis was good at all in this fight. And with that being said, the athletic gap between him and Mitch Ramirez was so big that it didn't matter. Mike is an excellent athlete. Mike is a guy that has raw skill in the grappling. He knows how to grapple. He has power on the feet. He has good techniques. But I don't think this guy is about the fight life. I think when he takes another hard fight against a real lightweight that wants to be here, that is on the same athletic level, I think he's going to get fucked up. That's the God's honest truth. I think he looks stiff. I think he looks stuck in the mud lately. I thought he looked stiff against Fares Ziam. I was willing to forgive that. Fares Ziam, different caliber of opposition. Against Mitch Ramirez tonight, he was getting clipped. He was getting hit. He had to rely on his durability. And at 32 years of age, I thought he looked old. That's the truth, man. I thought he looked old for 32. So I think that Mike Davis is one of these guys that the damage does not equate to the miles in terms of he's only 32 and he's had 15 pro fights, bro. He looks like a guy who's been through the ringer. He looks like a guy who's unsure of himself out there at times. And he has the athletic cheat code to get takedowns when he needs them and to land big shots and to take big shots. But it's just not process-wise going to work anymore at this level with that offering if he's fighting a top 15 guy, period. It's just not even close in my view. So that was my takeaway on that fight. Mitch Ramirez, I don't think is a UFC level fighter, but he is a man and he is a guy that fights his ass off. I don't think that Mitch Ramirez is afraid of anybody, bro. He walked him down. He tried his best and he just kept getting beat up on. So it's tough. Cam Junkin says the Mike Davis fade is going to be generational, no doubt. He has Lyme disease, by the way. And I feel so bad for him, man. It's like a local thing, Northeast. I had Lyme disease when I was young. It can fuck you up for sure. Jim Miller, one of the toughest guys in UFC history. Lyme disease fucked him up. So I wish Mike nothing but the best. I'm not trying to run him down. I just got to try and always be honest with you guys, try and level with you guys. And when we're talking about betting, Mike Davis was one of the biggest favorites on the card. And did he look like it? Fuck no, he didn't. That's the truth. He looked like a favorite insofar as he could get away with being like sloppy, honestly. But he just looked very sloppy tonight. Walter Walker, the guy sells out for heel hooks, man. It's not going to work forever, but oh boy, that plus 460 ends by sub is one of the fastest and easiest bets of my entire life. So for that, I'm eternally grateful. It was my biggest bet of the night, 1 unit at plus 460. A lot of people don't have the courage. And again, I say this humbly, right? It took me a long time. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm willing to look like a fool. A lot of people don't take the willingness to look like a fool seriously, but I was saying to myself, like, yeah, could one of these guys get knocked out? Sure. Could it go to decision? Sure. But it's about prices and it's about numbers over time. Walter Walker was never going to fight this fight without trying to wrestling grapple. How do you know? He hurts Kennedy and Xicao with a punch and instantly shoots a takedown, guys. He came out in this fight desperate to wrestling grapple because he's always desperate to wrestling grapple. Kennedy and Xicao, in my opinion, had a chance to submit Walter Walker if the fight made it to round 2 or 3, when Walker gets tired, when he starts to make mistakes. In the first round, Walter Walker is just a better grappler and a more aggressive and assertive grappler as well. So Walter Walker, he's doing his thing. He's getting in better shape. He's showing up with an actual ground game and takedowns at heavyweight. I'll just tell y'all, if you have heavyweight takedowns, you can win fights in the heavyweight division, period. If you have submissions at heavyweight, most guys have never heard of jiu-jitsu in the heavyweight division. So Walter Walker can win real fights, like that's what it's telling me. Where's his cardio? Looked real shit against Lukas Bresky, and we haven't seen it tested again since. So for me, that's still the open question on Walter Walker. If y'all are taking notes, put down in your little notebook, Walter Walker cardio, question mark. But other than that, I think the guy's got bad striking, and we know that, but it's serviceable enough for heavyweight to get inside and get a hold of somebody at their hips. And I just think that right now, Walter Walker has good enough skills to beat bad heavyweights, and most heavyweights are bad. So I think Walter Walker is going to win some fights in this division. Probably not going to see him at plus money again if he's fighting a low-level guy. Eduarda Mora and Lauren Murphy. Mora is a future fade, guys. I faded her against Denise Gomes. I bet live on Lauren Murphy in this fight. And again, Lauren Murphy, a couple of small mistakes, getting outworked a little bit, too slow, 40. But at 41 years of age, she gave Eduarda Mora enough, especially in that third round. And if that was a 5-round fight, I'm confident that Lauren Murphy would have cooked her late. I think Mora's cardio is not UFC level. So Monotone says, Lewis and Volkov rematch, title eliminator next. I absolutely love that, man. That would be perfect. Walker's BJJ is meme shit at heavyweight. That's true, Tristan. Lyme disease is gone with antibiotics. I don't think that that's true. I don't think that that's true. I think you can manage symptoms, but I think that everybody gets Lyme disease a little bit differently. Because again, Jim Miller dealt with Lyme disease for years. So I think the severity of Lyme disease can vary greatly. But I appreciate the contribution, Trevor. I'm not saying that it doesn't help or that it can't fix it, but I am saying that multiple guys in the UFC have dealt with Lyme disease, and it was for years debilitating to their career. Okay, I'm just going to mute you then. I was being very, very cordial and respectful, and you're just being crazy. So Mora is a future fate. I just leave it there. I faded her once with Denise Gomes. Lauren Murphy at 40 years of age went out there and gave her an honest fight. And I think that she's got a decent top game. She's got a decent ground game. But she's nothing too special except that she's a good athlete. Her cardio is just not good. Jake Matthews. I said that I thought it was Jake Matthews' fight to win or lose. He has not gone out there and pushed the wrestling and grappling nearly as much as you want to see from him. He said in the post-fight interview, he's like, man, I like to go out there and throw my hands a little bit, which I've seen on the tape, which I did not want him to do against Chitty. And wisely, he did not do that against Chitty. He was able to get the fight to the ground quickly. He used a nice Muay Thai foot sweep, sweeps him off his feet, spins to the back, beautiful back take, and a finish. Jake Matthews, this was a career best performance from him because he showed maturity. He showed fight IQ. He knew where he needed to take the fight. He took it there, and he won the fight easily. That was beautiful. So I think that Jake Matthews, he's got 22 UFC fights under his belt, guys. He's got, I think, an 11-4 record now in this welterweight division. You got to take him seriously. And he still has to prove it against one of these top guys, right? But fighting a Michael Morales competitively, 29-28, that's a feather in his cap at this point, right? Most guys are getting absolutely trounced. So I think that we see Jake Matthews, and, there's definitely been some performances in the past that left a lot to be desired. The Semmelsberger fight is a, straight up disaster. But when you just look at his body of work, you never want to judge somebody based on their best performance or their worst performance. Like my guy Yanni the Greek says, you kind of want to see what their average performance is like, where they're at a little bit in the middle. And the average Jake Matthews performance is good enough to win a UFC fight. So it's not a perfect recipe. He's definitely phoned it in a couple times and made some mistakes at times, but Jake Matthews is formidable, and another big win for him in his career. Chitty on the other side, his ground game is just not good. I'll leave it there. Split decision for Chris Curtis. This one was disappointing. I mentioned that I had Chris Curtis round 2 plus 1,000, round 3 plus 1,700. It feels good that he won both those rounds, so at least I had a decent idea of when he would come on strong in the fight. But I just expected more from Chris, and I thought it was a really disappointing performance. So I don't think his future is very bright in the welterweight division. I'll just leave it there. All right, guys, we got Tuco Tokos and Junior Tafa. This was the battle of mid. Let me pull this up. I think this was worst to ever do it. Let's pull this up. Okay, guys. So let's see this, right? Brought up my Twitter. And if you guys don't follow me over at LiamPicksFights on X on Twitter to get the real-time analysis. But I had said December 14th of 2024, Tuco Tukos is one of the worst to ever do it. Then if you go look, right? Tafa Bros on October 12th, some of the worst to ever do it. God bless them, though. I then said, when this fight was announced, there can be only one. This fight is destiny. The battle for the worst to ever do it. So I wanted to say a very, very special congratulations to Tafa, because now, officially, he is the worst to ever do it. So there it is, guys. Justin Tafa is officially the worst to ever do it. No disrespect to the man, but he brought this honor upon himself. Tuco Tukos was nearly knocked out at the end of the first. He was nearly knocked out at the beginning of the second. But when you have no ground game, zero jiu-jitsu, that is what it looks like. Justin Tafa does not have a ground game, and every time he gets put on the ground, he is a major liability to get finished. So he got finished this time. And I think that we have to reckon with the fact that the Tafa brothers are just absolutely bad at fighting. And it's because they have kickboxing skills and they're in a mixed martial arts world. So when they get put in the clinch, when they get put, in wrestling and grappling type scenarios, they are absolutely hopeless. So Junior Tafa, Justin Tafa, they are interchangeably bad, all due respect. I just don't think they're very good at fighting. And the thing that makes Justin actually slightly formidable is the fact that he's so big and so awkward, it'd be hard to get him to the ground, right? Whereas Junior, it seems like a strong gust of wind, and this guy starts hitting the deck. And, hats off to Tuco Tukos, right? He did his thing. He did what he needed to do to win this fight. But I didn't come away from this thinking Tuco Tukos is good. I came away from this thinking both guys are really, really bad and future fades. So if either one of these guys gets booked again in the UFC, I think they will lose. But it depends on their opponent. So we'll have to wait and see. But I don't think either one of these guys is a bright future. I said that before the fight, and I still feel the same way after. I thought they both looked horrible in this fight. But Tuco Tokos had a sustainable game, which is get one takedown, and I can win the fight. So every time he would get a takedown, he would do like 10 rescue breaths to make sure he was okay, and then start throwing ground and pound. And Junior Tafa just had physically and technically no answers in those positions. So shout out to Vitor Petrino. Has there ever been a more free submission prop? Maybe the Walker prop, but this one I thought was pretty free 99. Vitor goes out there and process grappled Austin Lane easily to several submission attempts, right? Like he went for the head and arm choke. He went for the Americana. He went for the, key lock grip. Like he was just trying to keep this guy working, keep him guessing, and eventually gets the finish, man. Vitor Petrino made it look really easy. Austin Lane is not a UFC level fighter. So Vitor Petrino's real test in the heavyweight division will be his next test in the heavyweight division, but soft landing for the kid after two bad knockout losses. Two bad finish losses, one knockout, one submission against Anthony Smith. He needed this. He rallied back, got the first round submission, cashed us a prop. So thank you, Vitor Petrino. Appreciate you, my dog. And on to the next one. Morgan Charrier. He did his thing, man. Hats off to Morgan. First win in the UFC outside of Europe. And, he fought Nate Landwehr. Nate brought him everything that he had. And unfortunately, Nate just didn't have enough today. He fought a great first 2 rounds. He fought arguably, a 50-50 round 1. I thought it could have went either way. 2 judges gave it to Morgan. 1 judge gave it to Nate. Round 2, Nate goes out there, won the round. So, goes into that, round where Nate is basically in the driver's seat. If he comes out and he wins the 3rd round, he wins the fight. Morgan Charrier sat down on a big hooking combination, hurt Nate, stuck with it, finished him, never let him off the hook. So, man, I think that I'm looking at, Nate Landwehr and saying his time is up, because the chin's starting to go and he relies on his durability. So, he could still win a fight or 2 at the UFC level, but, man, his time is just up, And on the other side for Morgan Charrier, he looked good tonight, overall. I think that there's too much inactivity in his style. I think that he's a little too stiff and rote. He will get found out and hurt badly, actually, against a big power puncher, a guy that's fast. I think Morgan Charrier is a guy that I'm going to look to fade inside the distance with a big power puncher in the future. But right now, Charrier did his thing. So hats off to him, found a way to get the win. But again, when you're a minus 245 favorite at close, I think even bigger in some places, right? Minus 250, minus 275. And you are down 2 rounds to 1 on one judge's scorecard. You are 50-50 on the other judge's scorecards going into the 3rd round. The live market has you minus 360. It's like, has his opponent minus 360, right? Morgan Charrier was lucky to win that fight in terms of where his betting odds were. So if you bet Morgan Charrier, you got to go back and re-examine the process. Like, you know what? Am I sure that was a good bet? Because honestly, I think Morgan Charrier, Gabriel Bonfim, they were both negative EV winners as far as I'm concerned. Like, yeah, they won, but if you lay those prices consistently over time with those kind of fighters in those situations, you will lose money. That's the way I feel. So that's always what I'm trying to do when we look at these fights after the fact is say, hey, if you got the money, congratulations. It all spends the same, right? If it's green, it's green. But you also don't want to say, like, I won the bet, therefore the bet is awesome. Because there could be a time where you make a bet and it wins, but it's not a great bet. And I think that this Morgan Charrier bet is an example of that. If you bet him at minus 250, hats off to you. You got your money back. But learn from that and say, hey, you know what? I don't know that this guy's really going to cover these prices against people that want to fight and that are tough and that have skills. So Nate, if he could have stuck in the pocket for another 4 minutes, I think he wins that fight and does so handily. But unfortunately, at 37, he was not able to do so. So he emptied the jug in front of his Tennessee faithful. This fight sucked. Steve Garcia, in my opinion, is a guy that puts out a lot of volume and activity. So that's to his benefit. I don't think Steve has a super bright future when he steps up in competition in this division. I really don't. I do think that we saw Calvin Kattar look really bad today, and I don't think that I can take away too much from Steve's performance. Steve's done everything right in terms of he's winning fights, he's beating people, he's putting his name out there, he's doing everything. But I just ultimately, the eyeball test tells me Steve Garcia is just an average guy. So his pace, his aggression, his enthusiasm, his will to win, those are good attributes. His durability, his mechanics, some of the way that he holds his hands and stuff, I think the better guys he fights, guys that are a little bit speedier, guys that have a little bit more power, guys that are committed to their offense, unlike Calvin Kattar, I think they're going to hurt him really bad. So that's the way I'd categorize that fight. All right, then we've got the co-main event of the evening. Split decision for Gabriel Bonfim. I think this was the wrong winner. So I think that Bonfim is, again, circled as a future fade for me. The grappling is good. It's not lights out. We saw him have opportunities against Wonderboy, could not close the show, made some mistakes in my view, positionally as well. I thought his cardio looked shit. I thought he didn't win the fight. I thought he got outworked in the second and third round. I thought he got outdamaged in the second and third round. So ultimately, when you're doing that against a 42-year-old as a minus 500 favorite, it's not great. So to get the win, hats off to him. He did what he needed to do, but did I think he deserved it? No. Did I think he looked good? No. Did I think that he told me, hey, I've got the skills and the game plan to go win a bunch of fights in the top 15? No. So Bonfim, I'm willing to be proven wrong if he goes out there and shows more in the future. I know Dana White likes the kid. I mentioned that on my show this week, but the decision against Angelusa, fair play. Angelusa is a pretty durable guy, and decision against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson where you're hanging on for dear life in the third round and looking gassed out and literally wrestling for your life. It's not for me, bro. And I don't think it's going to work against guys that aren't in their 40s. So if I hit $1 7 more times, do I get a shoey? Hey, brother, no doubt about it. I would be left with what you call no choice in the industry. Although I could also hit one for you out of respect, my brother, because you've been here rocking with us from the outset, Cam. You're the GOAT. But, guys, that brings us to the main event. It does bring us to the main event. And, listen, when I look at a Derrick Lewis, I don't know how I really take any information from this fight and, use it as information going forward. We know that Derrick Lewis is as dangerous as it gets. We know that Derrick Lewis is more than capable of winning fights by knockout. And we know that Tallison Teixeira has 5 minutes of proven fighting ability and nothing more than that. So did we learn anything about either guy? No, not really. Tallison Teixeira, in my opinion, do I say now he's got a bad chin because he got hit by Derrick Lewis and went down? I don't think so. He even got back up and recovered well. Does he have bad striking? I didn't really get enough data, enough sample, enough really showing to see. So what I gather from this fight is heavyweights can be heavyweights, right? You never want to lay massive heavyweight chalk prices. I've said this before, and I truly feel this way because of the volatility inherent in the weight class. And that's exactly what we saw tonight. I don't think any of the punches Derrick landed were particularly hard, the best punch of his career or something. I don't think that. I don't think that, Tallison Teixeira is a bum who has no skills and he got fraud checked. It was literally just heavyweight fighting. He got clipped. He went down. He tried to get back up to his feet. The ref jumped in prematurely. I don't really know what to take from that. Congratulations to everybody who cashed on Lewis. And let's watch Tallison's next fight to try and learn something about the guy. You know what I mean? Oh, my man, Cam, he just wants to see me suffer. I think that's truly what it is. He said, Liam has had too much fun on this stream, so he's got to suffer for our enjoyment. We got the shoe. We got the Asics. This is a wrestler classic. If you guys have never had Asics footwear, I say it is because you're not a wrestler. But in any case, guys, we've got a Long Island iced tea. We're drinking Cutwater tonight, okay? This was from my lady. So shout out to my lady, my beautiful lady, whom I love very much. My man says a gentleman I'll chug with. I appreciate you, Cam. You're a gentleman for being here. I appreciate everybody who's been rocking with us in the chat. All I ask is that if you're still here rocking with us, guys, go drop a like on the stream. We're going to hit a shoey for you guys. That's absolutely super necessary, like George Masvidal said. So if you haven't already, like the stream, get subscribed. If you want to throw a dono because I made you some coins today, that's awesome. If I didn't make you some coins today, then come back next week. We'll have all the same fun again. But for now, we're taking the contents of the cup. We're pouring it in the shoe. This is all happening in real time. I'm hoping not to spill anything. I got a towel underneath me just in case we came prepared. Scout's Hunter. There may have been a foreign object, like a rock, in the shoe. Not ideal, but we made it to the end. Absolutely. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Always a shoey on the line each and every week on the live stream watch along. I want to say thank you so much. Shout out to my guy Cam. He's having the Cutwater transfusion. You know as well as I do, Cam, that these Cutwaters rip. These rip, and I am going to be sauced for the remainder of my evening. But we go out ahead. We with the championship belt tonight. If there was a belt on the line, guys, it would be going home with us. 7 units of profit, 297% ROI on the evening. That's worth doing a shoey for, and it's right back to work for me. So what I'm going to be doing is, while I'm in my drunken stupor, I half kid, I'm going to be going and looking through these fights, getting a feel for what my thoughts are pre-tape, and then start stress testing my analysis. Does the tape match up with what I initially feel? And sometimes, guys, it does, right? Sometimes you say, wow, it's exactly how I remembered it, right? I thought from second one, Walker versus Xicao was an ends by sub click. But other times, it takes time. The Petrino fight, I thought Petrino was going to knock him out. He's going to knock him out. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought about, man, maybe this plus 800 deserves a look. And ultimately, process is when you select the right ones and you leave the ones that you should have left on the cutting room floor. So, guys, I'm going to get right back to work. I appreciate everybody who rocks with me. I appreciate everybody who supports. Shout out to my guy Monotone. Shout out to my guy Cam. Let's go back and see all the donos that we had on the stream today as well. Brandon N dropped a dono, said he loves the streams. I love you and appreciate you being here. Shout out to Tron, says love you, bro. Love you too and appreciate you being here. Cheers to you guys. Cam, the freaking explosions, the 99, 99, 90. My man just absolutely popped off with those. So I truly appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. It's my pleasure each and every week to bring you guys the show. Lord willing, we will have more content next week. I want to get back to doing the post weigh-in shows frequently, right? And we haven't gotten those down to a science yet. We're working on figuring out, who we do that with in terms of recording and schedules and all that kind of thing. But bets and banter, you'll get that every week, no matter what. Always, always, always on this channel. And the live watch alongs, anytime I'm here in my office and I got the opportunity, it's my pleasure to come here and talk fights with you guys. So thank you all for coming here and spending some time with me. God bless you all. Good luck. And if you're looking for all my work throughout the week, it's on Patreon. It's all linked down in the description below. But if you're just here to be a part of the community and hang out, fuck yeah, I love you and I appreciate you being here. We got Dana White Contender Series right on the horizon, like my guy Cam says. So plenty to look forward to. God bless. Good luck. And I'll see you all there. Take care, everybody.